Welcome back. I just spoke with President Trump, and he told me that Iran wants to make a deal badly. He said that the talks have been ongoing. I said, how much longer will this conflict go on? He said the talks, I said 5 days to halt or postpone strikes on the electrical infrastructure. It could happen sooner, he said, but I have put down 5 days. I asked him what his reaction is to Iranian state television saying that there are no talks, and he said he's not sure what they are referring to because the most recent talks happened, in fact, last night with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and their counterparts. When I asked about the Iranian TV saying that no talks have happened, he said it's hard to get any information there because of the U.S.'s blowing up so much of their infrastructure. So again, he wasn't sure what Iran state TV was talking about because the most recent talks, he said, happened last night with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Again, the president just told me moments ago that the Iranians want to do a deal badly. The market, of course, has reversed course this morning after the president posted this morning in the middle of a big decline in markets. He said that he has directed the military to postpone strikes on the electrical infrastructure and the power plants for 5 days as these talks continue. The Dow Industrials immediately reversed course when the president came out with that post and remain higher. The Dow right now up 750, the S&P up 100, and the NASDAQ up 380. The president this morning, a moment ago, confirmed with me on the phone that, in fact, Iran wants to do a deal, quote, badly.
The futures are spiking on that Truth Social post from the president that the U.S. and Iran have had productive discussions. I just spoke to the president. President Trump said the discussions have been very good over the last 48 hours, very intense discussions. I said, well, with whom? I thought, you know, there aren't a lot of leaders left alive. He said they have representatives. Obviously, that's been one of the things that that Iran has tried to say, that we've got a structure more than any one person. The president went on to say or insist that this is regime change because it's totally different people that were involved in the last regime. I would imagine some of the people are the same. This is the president's take on that, insisting that it's regime change. He went on to say the great meetings, great conversations, and hopes that within the next 5 days something very substantive can be arrived at for the end of.
You notice how stuttering he is. Doesn't really have the confidence, can't believe what he's seeing. Now, he knows exactly what's going on. And if you've been following this show, you should know exactly what's going on. And what is going on, in case you don't realize, is extreme reverse manipulation of the financial markets. Nothing you're seeing here is by accident. Nothing that you're seeing right now and how it's playing out is the movie continues to evolve. I'm going to prove it to you. I want you to continue to listen to what he has to say here.
Hostilities. So you heard some of it on the speaker.
I did. You just had him on. Look, this is significant. We saw the huge jump in the futures. We were as high as 1175 almost instantaneously on the Dow. Now it's up
almost instantaneously. Let that sink in. The markets are so screwed up. Everything is so bad. The economy sucks. The man can put out one post and instantaneously it changes. Just like that. Well, then wait a minute. What happened? Did something happen? Nope, he spoke. That's the power that President Trump has. And these people, they're seeing it right now. He, Scott Bessent, Chris Wright, they are the world's economy right now. And so let them continue.
close to 1,000. S&P futures up by 133. We saw oil prices collapse on this potential news. First of all, it's President Trump removing the deadline from tonight
for
the strikes that they were going to do.
For additional.
Hold on, honey. The oil markets collapsed. The price went hit the ground. Wait a second. I thought the gas pumps were all high because of the war and, you know, whole supply and demand. And I had said to you, as many other people have said, how the hell can the gas prices be going up when that gas is already in the ground? It's already here. How did that gas in that tank at your local Shell station go up when it's already been delivered? And I told you they were pricing in future pricing. Hey, I know what I have now, but I'm going to have to pay like $120 a barrel in, I don't know, 2 or 3 months once the boats come over. And so I want to make sure I'm making enough money now. So I got to stick it to you really hard because I don't know what's going on over there. We need to make sure we get paid. Instead of just saying, I've already purchased this, I'll deal with that pricing when that oil shows up. But no, we're going to just ring you guys, bend you over backwards, because politically we need to see this thing go up so it hurts Trump. He comes out and goes, gotcha, we're going to do a deal. And the prices of oil dive. Prices of oil dives, and then the stock market explodes. And I've told you many times, you just need to know what to look for, know what to expect, understanding. And I said it on Saturday. Watch what happens on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'm not saying it to pat myself on the back. I'm just trying to tell you, and I continue to try to tell you, how to see where that puck is going to go. And so a prudent person sits back and they see what President Trump said over the weekend. If you don't do this in 48 hours, blowing you to smithereens. So at that point, everybody panics. And lo and behold, Monday morning, we might be okay.
Hostilities.
For additional hostilities and for the strikes that he threatened for the utilities in Iran. Iran came back and was threatening to go after desalination plants and other infrastructure plants in the Gulf states. That could be some of what we're watching and kind of seeing what happened with this.
I wonder
but
about
putting
the
that
Strait,
off for
too.
5 days, that gives you a lot of room.
He was obviously in a rush.
A few moments later.
Dropping as energy markets digest the pause in hostilities. The price of oil down 8% already today. As that oil prices
8%. Oil dropped 8% and literally at the opening of the market.
fall, markets are going straight up. You see that on the screen.
Markets are going straight up. I'm trying to give you the vision into what's really happening. You don't have to believe me. It doesn't really matter if you believe me. The only people that need to believe me is my wife when she sees, oh, we made some money today. Yeah, we did. How did you know? Because if you know what to look at and you understand emotion versus reality, which is what I told you about the whole Elon Musk thing with Tesla a long time ago. When Tim Waltz and everybody, and they were blowing up Teslas, and I told you, there's nothing wrong with the product. The product just hasn't been spontaneously catching on fire. People love their Teslas. So the only thing that was driving the stock down, wow, he came on early. It's supposed to be 1 o'clock. The only thing driving the stock down was the actual emotion. But I'm going to have to stop because he decided to come on early. So let's get to it. All right, so while they're doing the music, let me just continue that real quick because I don't want to get in trouble with these guys here. But if you notice when we go back on the camera here, the people are going to be in the room with him are Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth. Why would the Secretary of War be at a Memphis, a local state law enforcement event? Looking at some of the other people there, the governor of Tennessee, Patel. So this thing is going to be an event about how he's making America safe again. I'm sure he's going to talk about the TSA as well, so you understand what's going on there. But understanding the market, understanding what you're looking at. Right now, the market is up 647 points. For no other reason than President Trump said that this is going to stop. And before they do that, I also want to show you, nobody knows who he's talking to, supposedly, but they put this out that this is the guy that they're talking to. Israeli official says the senior Iranian figure the U.S. is in contact with is Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Gandalf. I don't know, whatever his name is. But if that's the case, we are way down below, way down the mullahs. So maybe something's happened in that regard. I'm moving fast because I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the market. I'm looking at the market for my own edification as well. There's so much happening. I got so much to show you. President Trump did like a 15-minute press conference before he left, but he showed up early, so let's go.
Thank you. Wow, that was a nice place with the best sound system. I don't know who did. Sounds like the finest opera hall in anywhere in the world. Let's come back here more often. So often you have sound systems that aren't the greatest. And there's nothing worse, making a speech when nobody can hear you. This is beautiful and it's a great place. And Memphis has to like me because I have a lot of friends here and they were not happy a year ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago. And now they said, we can't believe what's happened in terms of crime, in terms of what's gone on and the job that these people and some of the great people, many of the great people in the audience have done. And that's why I'm here today. In fact, we were going to cancel because we have a couple of events going on, as you probably noticed. So they said, oh, we'll cancel Memphis. I said, we're not canceling Memphis for anything. We're not canceling. We're not going to cancel Memphis, but we do have some big things happening, and very positive, I have to say. So before getting to our important discussion this morning, let me provide a brief update on Operation Epic Fury, which is a very good name, as it turns out. That was a name. They showed me 20 names. Sir, what name would you like? I didn't like any of them. And then I get toward the end, I said, you got to be kidding. What? Operation Epic Fury. I love that name. And it's very appropriate for what's taken place, if you know, in Iran, because we knocked out their Navy, we knocked out their Air Force, we knocked out their anti-aircraft, we knocked out everything. And we did it with fury, actually. As I announced earlier, based on preliminary conversations between the United States and Iran over the past 2 days, I've directed the Department of War to temporarily postpone planned strikes against major energy and electricity targets in Iran. They have very, very big, new, actually, and very expensive, billions of dollars it costs to build them. One missile, one of our powerful ones, and it comes down to the ground like it was made out of dust. But to determine whether a broader agreement can be reached, we've had very good discussions, very, very good discussions. And you have to understand, I know my whole life has been a negotiation, but with Iran, we've been negotiating for a long time. And this time, they mean business. And it's only because of the great job that our military did is the reason they mean business. They want to settle, and we're going to get it done, I hope. So hopefully this will be possible, but no matter what, we'll ensure that Iran never obtains a nuclear weapon. They can't have a nuclear weapon. They would have had one if we allowed the Obama deal to stand. That was the Iran nuclear deal, they called it. They would have had one. Marcia 3. Well, I tell you what, Martha, we would have nuclear weapons up there when, would you say, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or 4 years ago? We would have been in a position that nobody wants to be in. We won't allow ourselves to be in that position. Over the past 3 weeks, the United States military and our partners have been decimating Iran's military capabilities with overwhelming firepower, skill, lethality, and force, and we're destroying their ballistic missiles and drones programs with launchers down by more than 90%. We're hitting their launches at a level that nobody even thought of before. 90%. They can't launch them, and they don't have very many of them because most of them have been annihilated. But we've annihilated their defense industrial base, eliminating their Navy. We had 158 ships are down. I said to my people, why didn't you capture the ship? I said, were they good or not? They said, they were great, sir. So why didn't you capture it? We could have used them. They said, it's more fun to put them at the bottom of the sea. But they're not there anymore. So we eliminated their Navy, Pete, right? And that's gone. We eliminated their Air Force. We eliminated all of their air defense, everything. We eliminated everything there is to eliminate, and we eliminated them. We eliminated their leaders. We had the first set of leaders. They're gone. Then they met, 88 people met. And it's sad. I mean, it's sad they couldn't have made a deal. We could have made a deal with them a long time ago. Then the second set, 88 people met to pick a new leader. And they're now extinguished. And then they're meeting again. But now nobody wants to be the leader. It's one of the few political jobs that nobody wants anywhere in the world. Nobody wants it. It's a very dangerous job. My job is dangerous, too, but their job is worse. In other words, we're systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America. They're not threatening us anymore. As Commander-in-Chief, it's my sacred responsibility to protect our country from all threats. For decades, Iran refused every opportunity to renounce its nuclear ambitions, and in recent months, its own negotiators bragged to our representatives about having enough material to make nuclear weapons. And that was supposed to deter me, but it didn't deter. It made me more anxious, and it just made it much more important. This mission that we're all on together was much more important, and we did it quicker. Iran's missile capabilities were also growing so fast that it would soon have become virtually impossible to stop them. Once they have a missile, once they have what they were building was incredible. And you got a little glimpse of it by the fact that when they came out, they started shooting all of their neighbors. Their neighbors weren't fighting with them. They were getting along okay with their neighbors. And I was surprised. Everybody was surprised. And it actually worked in reverse because their neighbors then turned against them. Now Iran has one more opportunity to end its threats to America and our allies, and we hope they take it. Either way, America and the entire world will soon be much safer and will be a much more secure planet. In addition to all of this, we're working on so many different things. You know, our economy was fantastic. We had a Dow at 50,000. They say it couldn't happen in 4 years. It wouldn't happen during my term. But if I got anywhere close, it would be a great success. Well, in my first year, we hit 50,000. And with the S&P, they said, even more difficult. They said it would be impossible to hit 7,000 on the S&P. And we hit that in our first term. And then, unfortunately, I called Pete, I called General Kane, I called a lot of our great people. We have great people. And I said, let's talk. We got a problem in the Middle East. We have a country known as Iran that for 47 years has been just a purveyor of terror, and they're very close to having a nuclear weapon. We can keep going and get that 50,000 up to 55 and 60. There's no end. Or we can take a stop and make a little journey into the Middle East and eliminate a big problem. And Pete, I think you were the first one to speak up. And you said, let's do it, because you can't let them have a nuclear weapon. So we are now having really good discussions. They started last night, a little bit, the night before that. And I think they're very good. They want peace. They've agreed they will not have a nuclear weapon, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll see. You have to get it done. But I would say there's a very good chance. And it began when I said that we were planning tomorrow on shooting down some of their power plants, and we're going to hold that up. Hopefully we won't have to do it. And hopefully we can make a deal that's good for all of us, including the Middle Eastern allies that have been very good to us, including Israel, that's been a great partner in this fight. They've really been a good partner in the fight. They fought hard. But we'll see what happens. I think there's a very good chance we're going to end up in a deal. And so we're giving it 5 days, and then we're going to see where that takes us. And I would say at the end of this period, I think it could very well end up being a very good deal for everybody. As good as if we went all the way and just literally annihilated the place, which if we don't have to do that, that would be a good thing, not a bad thing. In addition, after the appalling lines and massive disruptions at major airports nationwide last weekend, I am again demanding that Democrats in Congress immediately end their disgraceful shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security and restore the full funding for airport security and the TSA. They are holding it up because they want to take care of illegal immigrants coming into our country. They want to take care of criminals that are in sanctuary cities. They want to take care of transgender for everybody, literally the mutilization of our children, men in women's sports. But what they don't want to do is give us anything to do with citizenship for voting or voter ID. Can you imagine? We're the only country that doesn't do voter ID. Every country does voter ID. You know, brought to my attention today that we're the only country that does mail-in voting. Mail-in voting means mail-in cheating. I call it mail-in cheating. And we got to do something about it all. And it's part of Homeland Security. And I'm suggesting strongly to the Republican Party, don't make any deal on anything. The most important thing we can have is what's called the Save America Act. Don't make any deal on anything unless you include voter ID, and you have to be a citizen to vote. You have to show citizenship to vote. Very easy to do. It's very insulting when they say people can't do it because they don't know how to do it. Anybody that can't do it, I think it's a very insulting thing to say. The Democrats are fully to blame with the struggle of the great American public is going through at the airports. They're going through a big struggle right now, and we just put ICE in charge, and they're helping TSA, the agents, and they're working together so far very well. I actually suggested that in the airports they take off their masks, and they did that. In the airports, I'm a big believer in the mask because we have, Biden allowed hundreds of thousands of killers into our country. We're rapidly getting them out, by the way. But they would go after these people if they knew exactly who they were. But in the airports, it's different. I didn't love the look in the airport as you get off the plane. So I made a request and they agreed to it. So they're not going to be doing that. We would also bring out, if we don't have enough, we will bring out the National Guard in, where we need it to help out at the airports. But we're not going to let this happen. It's extortion by the Democrats. They're holding up money that's already been approved. And now they're willing to go $5 billion reduction in ICE in order to get the approval on a deal that they approved, the great big beautiful deal, which is the biggest tax cut in history, the biggest regulation cut in history. They want to basically renegotiate a deal that they already approved. And they're doing it largely for a criminal element. So also the Democrats are putting our country at great risk during this period of time, a period that they call a war. They call it a war. We call it a military operation. Their leaders during this time are, as you want to say, they're in a never land. Schumer is gone. I mean, he's a Palestinian. He should be fighting on the side of Palestine. He's actually become a Palestinian leader. I don't know. I've never seen a man change so much. He used to be pro-Israel. Now he's pro-Palestine. I've never seen anything like it. And, he's worried he's going to lose his next election, which it only depends if anybody runs against him. If anybody runs against him, he'll lose. But he's gone very wacky and very dangerous for our country. But we want all of those things. We have to have them. We want voter ID. We want proof of citizenship as part of our funding. We want to merge them so that we can get the great, big, beautiful bill in action, and we can get the America and Save America. They called it the Save Act, but nobody knew what the Save Act was. So I said, you have to call it, under any circumstances, you have to call it the Save America Act. because everybody knows what that is. So they want funding taken away from the ICE patriots who are responsible for getting rid of the criminals that Sleepy Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, and his gang of thugs in the White House. You talk about weaponization. They weaponized everybody. You know, when when Pam looks at somebody, oh, it's weaponization. They've indicted me. What they've done to me and everybody else, it's a disgrace. They're the weaponizers. And what they've done to people, can never let that happen again. We can never let them get away with it again. They are the greatest weaponizers. Fortunately, it didn't work because here I am with you. So it didn't work out too well. Didn't work out too well. But they want to have people come into our country. And so many of these people are murderers. They're drug dealers. They're the worst criminals anywhere in the world. They want them in our country. They don't want them to come out. They make it almost impossible, but we get them out anyway. They should have never been allowed to enter our sacred ground. These people should have never, they came from all over the world. They came from all over. They came from the Congo in Africa. They came from all over South America, Asia, everywhere. And they were from jails and mental institutions. They were drug dealers. They were murderers. 11,888 murderers. In any event, the Democrats are being blamed by the American people for the catastrophe going on right now at our airports and at other points of transportation and beyond. And we want the public to know we're not going to let them out of this trap that they created for themselves. And I'm suggesting very strongly that the Republicans, in going for the Save America Act, that you weld it into exactly this, because voter ID is part of Homeland Security. Think of it. We're talking about two separate items, but they're really the same. Voter ID is part of Homeland Security. And citizenship, proof of citizenship, is part of Homeland Security. So I think it should be welded in. I think it should be together. You should vote together, because the public has not liked what they've done at the airports. And they've done it, and the public understands it. They've gotten wise to them. Republicans do not settle with Democrats and let them out of this hole that they've buried themselves in. You have to take the votes in the Senate to approve. You need votes to approve. We have to get Democrat votes. And at a certain point, if you could get rid of the filibuster, it would be great. It would be great. Get rid of the filibuster and get it all done. So we'll get it done. We want another thing. We can, or we don't have to, add those other items. And by the way, they say they're 80-20 items. They're not 80-20. They're 99-1. Men playing in women's sports is a 99-1. You look at transgender mutilization of our children, that's a 99-1. And we have that in the bill, too. So they won't sign it. Then let the people reject them. And what we have to do is we have to win the midterms. This is the most important election, because all of the gains that we've made, we built the greatest economy, the greatest military. I built the military in my first term, and we built the greatest military in the world. We're showing it now with Venezuela, with Iran. Everybody knows we have the greatest, most powerful military in the world. And we're in a position that we haven't seen. We're respected. You know, our country now is respected all over the world. A year and a half ago, we were a laughingstock. We were a laughingstock. The King of Saudi Arabia told me a year and a half ago, he said, "President, I can't believe what's happened to America. 1 year ago, you were a laughingstock. Nobody thought you could ever survive. Now you're the hottest country." Use that expression. He said, now you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. And we are now. Congratulations, because we're all partners in this deal. You're the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's really amazing. So I congratulate you. It's a great feeling, because we were laughed at for 4 years with this guy that should have never been president. So I'm tying Homeland Security into voter identification with picture and proof of citizenship in order to vote. And those two items are the most important thing having to do with Homeland Security. So it should be part of the Homeland Security bill. And I'm requesting that the Republican senators do that immediately. You don't have to take a fast vote. Don't worry about Easter going home. In fact, make this one for Jesus, okay? Make this one for Jesus. That's what I tell them. That would be a damn good thing. The most important part of Homeland Security is voter ID and proof of citizenship. Nobody can vote on Homeland Security without voter ID or proof of citizenship. And you can't have Homeland Security without voter ID or proof of citizenship. So we're tying them together. So now, if you don't mind, let's get to the reason why I'm in Memphis and why you're doing so well. Because Fred Smith, everybody know Fred Smith? He was a friend of mine, and he created from a sort of failed report at like Harvard or whatever. He did a business report, a concept he had, that was his thesis, a concept he had to build a company, and it was FedEx. So he gave this thing where he takes packages, he delivers them. Who the heck knows what he put down? Bottom line is they gave him a lousy mark. I don't know if they passed him or not, but they didn't give him a good mark. They say, this is the most ridiculous business plan we've ever seen. Fred, go back to the drawing board and try something else, because this won't work. Well, he decided to go for it, and he built FedEx, and it's an amazing story. And he was a very good friend of mine. But he would tell me that he didn't know what to do about Memphis. It was so dangerous that they would have a board meeting, and the board members, they were demanded that they could not walk 1 block to their hotel. You know the hotel I'm talking about. It was so dangerous. And now they tell me this is like an entirely different place. It's like Washington, D.C. In Washington, D.C., we had the same thing, and now it's amazing. It's such an honor, too. If only more governors, your governor called, and he said, we love it. Your mayor has been terrific. Your mayor has been terrific. But look at the results that you've got. Look at the results. And everybody should do it. You know, if I was Chicago, Pritzker, he's a failed governor. All he has to do is say, President, we're having a problem in Chicago. Could you come in and fix it? We'd have it fixed in 2 months. It would be good. It would be good in 2 months. It would be great in 4 months. You'd have almost no crime. But he can't do it. And it just keeps going the same way. So that's the reason I'm here, to tell you how well you've done, how well we've done. I mean, I just came in and people greeted me, sir, thank you very much for what you've done. I said, oh, where are you from? Memphis. What did I do? You stopped crime. And your sheriffs are so thankful. And, oh, you haven't seen it yet. You know, we've just been here a short while. In another 2 or 3 months, you're going to have like no crime. And, you know, we take these criminals. Is that our handsome senator down there, Bill? Is that our handsome senator, Bill? You got both of them down, but you're going to have a new governor here soon, I guess, huh? You're going to have a very new governor. Would you two stand up as senators? Please stand up. Two of the greatest people. Two of the greatest people. They never let me down, you know? Some let me down. They never let me down. Thank you. Last September, my administration launched the initiative modeled on D.C. Safe Task Force in our nation's capital. One of the most amazing things, I mean, I hate to say it, now I can say it, but our nation's capital was one of the most dangerous places on earth. People were being killed. They'd go in from Iowa. They'd go from Indiana to see the Washington Monument, and their parents would get a phone call they'd been killed. And it was happening a lot. It was really bad. And like this, actually, yours was at a level higher, to be honest with you. It was really bad. But it was happening a lot. And now you walk down Washington, it's like everybody that sees me in Washington, we've been doing that another couple of months longer. Everybody sees me in Washington, they say, thank you, sir. Thank you. And I immediately know what. You know, they could thank me for a lot of things. I said, are they thanking me for the economy? I know immediately. We have people working in the White House, young women. They walk, I would say normally beautiful young women. Ever since I got elected, I don't like to say that, because usually when you say a beautiful woman, isn't she beautiful? That's the end of your political career. So I never say that. But young women coming up to me and they're saying, "Sir, thank you so much." I know immediately what they're talking about. I say, "How big a difference is it?" They say, "We walk to work. We were afraid to walk into an Uber. We were afraid to walk into a car. The car would be, it didn't matter. The car was being robbed when we were in the car. And it was much more than being robbed. Being robbed was the least of it. And we took out over 3,000 people. And you know, there's an expression that 90% of the crime is caused by 2% of the population. And when you hear that, you realize why we can do such a good job. We moved 3,000 people out, permanently out of Washington. These were career criminals. Many of them came in through the Biden open border disaster. They came in. They weren't there. They came in. They said, "We want to live in Washington where they'll take good care of us, give us plenty of welfare." And we got them all out. We moved them back to their countries. Sometimes we'd put them in prison because they were so dangerous. We had one person who killed 4 people in a short period of time. Many of the people, 11,888, 50% of them in our country, they came from jails. Other countries opened their jails and let them into our country because Biden and his great border czar, the border czar who never once went to the border, never once called Border Patrol. But his great border, perhaps you've heard her, Kamala. Has anyone heard of Kamala? She was the border czar. That was like having nothing as a border czar. And they poured into our country, and they made our country very, very unsafe. And the job that ICE and Border Patrol have done, they don't get the appreciation they deserve. They are great American patriots. They're incredible people. So we brought together 22 federal agencies, state and local police, and 1,500 members of the incredible National Guard to smash the grip of the violent criminals on this iconic American city. The city is incredible. People love it so much, but they're just fed up. They can't stay, and now they're staying. I had somebody backstage say, "Sir, I was ready to leave, and now we're staying." I said, "Don't worry, it's going to get much better. It just takes a little more time." Like our D.C. efforts, the Memphis Task Force has been led by our Director of U.S. Marshal Services, Gaddy Seralta, who is incredible. Where's Gaddy? Gaddy, you are unbelievable. And I want to thank you for the work. He did a job in Washington. So when I heard Memphis, I said, I want the same guy that did Washington. Because that went, you're going to tell us when you get up which was more difficult, all right? But members known all over the world as the home of Graceland. You know I'm going to see Graceland after this? I think, is that right? I love Elvis. I never met Elvis. Everyone said, did you? I met them all. I met Sinatra. I knew all of them. I never met Elvis. Sometimes I feel I should tell the little fib, said I knew him well. I love Elvis, but I never met him. But I'm going to go see Graceland after this, I think. I'm sure it's not going to be a very long stay, but I want to see that. But for years prior to our involvement, Memphis had become known for something else, being the murder capital of the USA. That's not a good title. It was averaging far more than one murder per day, with a crime rate higher than Colombia, Mexico City, or Baghdad. In the year, I shouldn't be saying this, but here's the good news. It's been fixed, all right? I hate to say this because it's so negative. It's so negative. In the year before I took office, Memphis saw more than 12,500 violent assaults, 429 rapes, and 7,600 burglaries and armed robberies. And I mean, it was getting worse. This catastrophe was a result of years of local politicians, judges, and prosecutors who sided with violent criminals over law-abiding citizens. Basically, liberals, or now they like to go with the word progressives. You don't hear liberal. They're liberal. I don't like progressive because it's a beautiful word. You know, they use progressive because that's the only thing they're good at, politics, I guess. You know, they're bad at policy because all these policies are bad, but they're great at politics, and they do stick together. They stick together, they're good at politics, but they're bad at policy because they can't sell open borders, they can't sell transgender for everyone, they can't sell men and women's sport. so they can be the greatest politicians in the world, and that's why I'm here instead of them, I guess. But just as we have in D.C., here in Memphis, we've achieved one of the largest, fastest declines in violent crime ever recorded. So that's something, right? Ever recorded. In fact, you're half a percentage point away from the record, so we'll catch them in the next month or two, all right? I think that's going to happen. But that includes a 60% drop in robberies, a 74% drop in carjacking, and motor vehicle thefts. We have always achieved numbers that are good. These numbers are right on line to be among the best that we've done. And wherever we do this, we have very similar results. We were in New Orleans, where the governor called us, as you know, and we went to New Orleans. They just had Mardi Gras. They said it's the first, it sounds terrible, but it's the first Mardi Gras we've ever had where there was no murder. Can you imagine? Doesn't sound too good, but, you know, we're talking about the facts. And they said we had the lowest crime that we've ever had on Mardi Gras, which is almost nothing. We went there about 4 months ago. We did a great job. So we've achieved a 70% reduction in murders from the peak in this place. In total, we've arrested 7,000 criminals, seized more than 1,100 illegal guns, taken more than 1,000 pounds of illicit narcotics, and rescued more than 150 missing children, making their parents beyond happy. So I'd like you to please join me in thanking, I tell you, every single law enforcement hero here today. We have a small number compared to what's doing the job, who helped make Memphis safe again. Memphis, just so you know, with all of the things we said, you have now developed a reputation as a city that's coming back stronger than any city in the country because of what's happened with crime and because your political leaders had the courage to do what they did. So I'd like you to also say a special welcome and hello to the Tennessee National Guard, the Memphis Police Department, ICE, CBP, the ATF, DEA, Homeland Security Investigations, the U.S. Marshals, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, and all of law enforcement. Everybody got together and they said, we're going to make Memphis great again. And they really did. It's so good. But, you know, I talk about how good it is. We're at 75%. Some people say 80, 81%. That still leaves 20%. You're going to be down in another 2 months, 3 months, I think, Addie. We're going to be down to almost no crime. You're going to be an almost crime-free city. You're going to be so proud of it. People are going to stay. They're going to actually come back because you have everything going, but you have that one horrible cloud over your head. And essentially, people know it's happening, but essentially in another 2 months, you're not going to have anything. You're going to have a virtually crime-free city. So today I'm pleased to announce that the Secretary of War, used to be the Secretary of Defense. We made a minor change. We like the sound of it better. That the Secretary of War has just signed a directive to ensure that all National Guard members serving on this task force, as well as in D.C., New Orleans, and our border security missions, will receive the same benefits as active duty troops because you deserve it. That's not bad. That's not bad. So before we leave, I want to thank Attorney General Pam Bondi, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. These are great people. Chief of the National Guard Bureau General Stephen Nordhaus, FBI Director Kash Patel, wonderful guy, actually. You got to get to know him. Once you get to know him, he's a wonderful guy. I've known him too long, right? He's a good guy. DEA Administrator Terry Cole, what a job he's done. Acting Director of ICE, where's Terry? Good job, Terry. What a job. In Washington, too. Acting Director of ICE, Todd Lyons. Todd, great. Thank you, Todd. Good job. Head of the ATF, Rob Cicada. Rob, thank you, Rob. Head of the Tennessee Highway Patrol, Colonel Matt Perry. Thanks, Matt. And head of the Tennessee National Guard, Major General Warner Ross. How are you? You guys look central casting. These are central casting people. What did you need us for? You didn't need us. Anyway, they had to let you do your job, right? They're letting you do your job now. Thanks as well to Tennessee Governor Bill Lee for the outstanding job. Thank you very much, Bill. We appreciated you for it. Bill called me up. He said, we need a little help in Memphis, sir, when you get over here, please. He said, I have no pride. We just want this thing straightened out, right? So thank you very much. I'm glad it worked out. Oh, you haven't seen, what do you see? In 90 days from now, you're going to see numbers that blow these off. You're down 70, 75%. You're going to see numbers that you're going to be very proud of. Senators Bill Haggerty and Marsha Blackburn. Great people. Great people. You have some real warriors, too, as your congressmen and women. David Kustoff, Andy Ogles, Diana Harshbarger, John Rose, Matt Van Epps, and Chuck Fleischman. Will you all stand up? Warriors all. Everyone. Great, great people. You don't get better, and it's not the easiest job, is it, huh? Speaker of the House, you know what I like about them? They're not 3 o'clock in the morning. Sir, I get a call from Mike Johnson, Speaker. Sir, we have a problem. What time is it, Mike? 3 o'clock, sir, morning. We vote at 9. We need, it's always the same, it's like 8 or 9. Sir, could you call them for us and see if you can get their vote? 3 o'clock. Call them up. Hey, Jim, how you doing? Hello, sir. I'm not there. Well, you got to get there. 9 o'clock, you got to vote. Sir, could I have a little breakfast so we could discuss this bill? Like a perfect bill, like, voter ID or something. The bill didn't have to be too great to do it. He said, could we have maybe a little breakfast at the White House, sir? So, because I can get there, but I'm just not there. Come on over for breakfast, Bill. I got a lot of them, too. I have about 9 of them. But these are the people we love. So I want to thank you all. Speaker of the Tennessee House of Representatives, and I hear this guy, he's fantastic. Cameron Sexton, where is he? I have heard such good things about you. And you're working on a very specific bill right now. I know all about you. That's great. Let me know when it's finished. You got to send me a copy, okay? That's great. Thank you, Cameron. You're doing a great job. Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner. Thank you, Floyd. National President of the Fraternal Order of Police. Oh, that's a big one. He gave me his endorsement. Patrick Yost. Where's Patrick? He gave me his endorsement. I said, well, what's your endorsement worth? How many members? He said, sir, we have 490,000 members. I said, that's a good endorsement. Patrick, do you think anybody outside of, within law enforcement, did anybody vote for Kamala that you know of? Don't say it. You're going to get yourself in trouble. Don't say it. But thank you, Pat. That's great. We had an unbelievable, I do believe we got 98, 99% with law enforcement. And why not? President of the National Sheriff's Association, Chris West. Chris, thank you very much. Thank you, Chris. Stand up, Chris. Thank you. Well, why are you so far back there, Chris? You deserve to be in the front row. The National President of the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association, Matt Silverman. Great guy, too. All great guys, all guys we know. All guys, thank you, Matt. They're all guys that supported me, Pam, every one of them. For years, our leaders allowed entire cities in America to be destroyed by crime, drugs, and gang violence. Tolerating this violence was always a choice. 19 of the 20 most dangerous cities in America are run by Democrats. I'm surprised I thought it was 20 of 20. I don't know why it's 19. I don't believe it. It's like, I heard it was 25 out of 25. Well, I'll find out about it because I don't believe it's right. Whoever wrote that statistic is wrong. But under the Trump administration, we believe that no city or neighborhood should be left behind. In Memphis, the crime became so horrible that residents were made prisoners of violence in their own community, in their own home. But with the help of the great people right here at this table and right here, it's a whole different story right now. It's changing fast, and it'll be record-setting in a very short period of time, and I'll be here to celebrate it with you. You know, it's a very special state to me. I won this state, Bill, by numbers that nobody's ever won it before. We have the all-time record for votes. So I happen to like the state. I love Tennessee. Maybe someday I'll move to Tennessee. I might have to move there. No, I love it. You never know what that is. You know, you just have a relationship with the state. It's a lot safer than relationships with other things, I can tell you as a politician. But I especially want to thank Speaker Sexton, who's working with the task force to pass model bills that will be toughen crime, to deliver permanent safety to the people of Memphis. And really, I don't know if you know, but they're looking at this all over the country, what you're doing. They're studying it. That's why I know your name so well. And all over the country, they're studying it. And so I hope you do a great job, as simple as you can and as complex in the sense of we want to be tough. We want to be strong on crime because that's the thing. We want to have heart. We want to have fairness, but we have to be tough because some of these people are bad people that should have never been allowed to be here. Since I took office, we have successfully arrested or removed from the country over 500,000 hard-line criminals. And under our leadership last year, the murder rate nationwide saw the single largest decline ever recorded to the lowest level in 125 years. That's something. That's something. And this is despite the fact that they allowed 25 million people into our country. Many of those people should never have been allowed into our country. So now I'd like to ask Director Gaddy Seralta, who's really a special guy, and I've lived with him because of Washington, D.C. I saw what he did, but to say a few words. And congratulations for what you've done everywhere. But today we're only interested in one place, Memphis, Tennessee. Thank you very much. Gaddy?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much. So good morning to you, and thank you, Mr. President. Today we celebrate the successes of this incredible mission and all our federal, state, local, and National Guard teammates who have contributed mightily to the Memphis Safe Task Force. Mr. President, it is an honor to be entrusted by you to lead this amazing task force as Director of the United States Marshal Service. Your decisiveness in responding to state and local leaders' requests for federal assistance is inspiring. It was just over 6 months ago when you signed the executive order restoring law and order in Memphis. At that point, the city of Memphis was overwhelmed with unprecedented levels of violent crime, to include some of the nation's highest per capita rates of murder, robbery, and aggravated assault. Memphis residents could not safely enjoy a walk downtown. Parents were fearful of their children playing outside, and local businesses struggled to prosper. The mission you gave us was clear and concise. Crime will not prevail in Memphis, period. The city will not be surrendered to lawlessness. President Trump, thank you for your leadership. We had a blueprint, quickly restoring order and reducing violent crime, given our success with Operation Make D.C. Safe and Beautiful, as you mentioned. We began our deployment to Memphis and commenced operations on September 29, 2025, with 20 partner agencies and 200 task force members. Now we partner with 33 multi-agency teams throughout the Memphis area. We have the support of over 2,700 officers and National Guard members who comprise the Memphis Safe Task Force, most of which are out here in the audience. In just over 6 months, the Memphis Safe Task Force has made over 7,342 arrests. This is last week's numbers, with charges ranging from homicide, there was 44 of those, 812 drug offenses, and 757 gang-related offenses. We have seized over 1,200 illegal firearms and located and returned 150 missing children. Each of these arrests and seizures of illegal contraband have a ripple effect, bringing justice to victims, relief to communities, and the prevention of future offenses or deadly accidents. Our work, however, has not just been about arrests and the seizure of illegal firearms and narcotics. Our Tennessee National Guard partners have made a significant impact while serving on the task force by administering several life-saving doses of Narcan to overdose victims, chasing down and detaining a fleeing murder suspect on Christmas Day, and providing immediate life-saving medical aid to the occupants of a vehicle collision on I-40. That's just a few of the things they've done. Similarly, our Health and Human Services Tactical Med, we call them TACMED, they're our doctors. Their team has treated almost 500 task force officers and related injuries during our operations. The fraud cell, the Memphis Safe Task Force Fraud Cell, has been a key contributor in targeting federal benefits fraud, organized crime, and other complex fraud matters. The Fraud Cell has more than 80 open investigations, 33 cases active with the United States Attorney's Office. Their recent efforts have resulted in 2 indictments of convicted sex offenders living in housing paid for by Housing and Urban Development, and 1 indictment for stealing benefits from a Social Security beneficiary. I would also like to recognize the work of Attorney General Bondi's incredible staff at the Western District of Tennessee. Their stats tell a remarkable story as well. They have increased the number of defendants charged by 221%, and the number of cases indicted by 204% when compared to the same operational period last year. I see you smiling, Mike. Congratulations. Without question, the public safety outlook in Memphis has improved dramatically. In the past 6 months, collectively, our efforts have resulted in a 43% reduction in total serious crimes, 37% reduction in murder, 40% reduction in sexual assault, 56% reduction in robbery, 68% reduction in motor vehicle thefts, and the most impressive of all is a 65% increase in the solvability of the crimes that have been committed. These numbers are so impressive that it's often easy to just recite them without reflecting on significant positive impact that we have had on lives of Memphis residents. The city's residents and visitors are now more likely to venture downtown, and our local businesses are rallying back. Large-scale public events have shown improved safety outcomes, as demonstrated during the December 6, 2025 St. Jude Marathon, where 22,000 runners gathered without a single reported downtown burglary, compared to multiple incidents in the prior year. Perhaps the most telling of all is one of our Special Assistant United States Attorneys recently reported that a traveling emergency room doctor, expressed his appreciation for all that the task force had done. You see, he said that in years past he would see 3 to 5 gunshot victims per shift, and now he sees an average of 1 gunshot victim every 3 or 4 shifts. Mr. President, the Memphis Safe Task Force underscores one simple truth. When federal, state, and local agencies work together as genuine partners, we can reclaim even the most troubled cities. I am extremely grateful to you for the opportunity. To all our partner agencies, it has been an honor to work alongside you, and I look forward to sustaining and building on these partnerships as we continue to make Memphis safe again. Thank you.
Thank you, Getty, very much. And Pam, I think, thank you. What a great job. And I think, I see them sitting out there, your U.S. attorney and your assistant U.S. attorney. You do a great job. Would you please stand up?
Michael Donovan.
Michael Donovan, Thank you, Michael. Thank you both. Great job. Thank you. Pam Bondi, please.
Thank you, President Trump. Some people choose to tolerate crime, but you chose law and order. And that's why this task force worked. It was all of us, as Gaddy said, working hand in hand with my FBI, DEA, U.S. Marshals, ATF, with Cash, with Terry, with Rob, with Gaddy. Not only that, with Pete, with Department of War, with Homeland Security, with all of my agencies working hand in hand with the National Guard. When you went out there, when we came to Memphis, you could not tell who was with what agency because everyone was working so well together. Our U.S. Attorney, Mike Donovan, was out there. And not only this, everyone needs to know, we met with this president multiple times about this endeavor. The president knew what was going on here. The president cared. People like Alice Johnson sitting in the front row, who is a Memphis resident, she told us what a horrible crime problem there was. And I think the unsung hero in all of this is Stephen Miller. Stephen is the architect of making all of these plans work. Stephen, thank you. Thank you. And just two very brief examples. There was a horrible murderer, Arsenio Davis, who last October committed a gruesome double homicide. He killed his mother and dismembered another person. And based on this task force working hand in hand, he's off the street. Another example, a horrible monster who's charged with raping a small child. This task force, all of these members working together, arrested him. We can give you countless examples of that. Over 770 gang members off the streets. And we know there's no normal day for a law enforcement officer. We know it's so dangerous what our law enforcement officers do. But know this, Donald Trump and this administration, we have your backs. Thank you all, and thank you, President Trump. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pam. And Pete Hegseth, who has been unbelievable at what he's doing, is nobody better. That was a wise choice. Pete, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your historic leadership on Operation Epic Fury. The success you've laid out was only possible because of the military you rebuilt, as well as the historic success here in Memphis. And I want to start by thanking every patriot in this room, in law enforcement, and the nearly 1,500 National Guard members for your heroic efforts in this operation. This is more than a task force. This is a statement not just in this city, but across the nation. When I look around this table, I'm looking at people that we work with every day: Governor, Cash, this team, the National Guard, Pam, Stephen, as was mentioned, Gaddy, the Speaker, at the federal level and the state level, working hand in glove. It doesn't happen any other way. You see, before President Trump, our nation was set on a perpetual course of decline. Our defense industrial base had been hollowed out. Our military had lowered its standard, prioritizing equity over merit and lethality. And right here in cities like Memphis, our people were focused on enduring just what seemed to be the status quo of rampant, vicious crime. Well, they let their cities burn to the ground, literally. In the name of hollow humanitarianism, weak leaders, and that's what it is, it's weak leaders, previously provided sanctuary for hordes of dangerous, illegal aliens who preyed on our most vulnerable. Soft on crime, defund the police nonsense tied the hands of our brave law enforcement heroes while the bad guys ran wild. And the most basic tenets of public safety, the foundations of any civilized society, were labeled as too toxic to implement. Well, not under President Trump. Such engineered chaos combined with a wide open border. By the way, thank you for agreeing to sign that declaration for the Memphis troops, the D.C. troops, and the troops on our border. They'll now be paid and get benefits just like folks on active duty. Thank you for that, Mr. President. It's an important step of demonstrating how serious this mission is to the Department of War. It's common sense. And it was that same common sense that brought President Trump back to the White House. People were sick and tired of the never-ending crisis. And under President Trump, we will not allow depraved, suicidal ideologies to destroy our great cities. No longer will we sit idly by while illegal aliens and savage criminals rape, murder, and poison the good people of this country. Because every American, without exception, is entitled to safe, clean, and beautiful cities. Cities where you can walk in peace, cities where law enforcement can do their job. And to that end, the Department of War stands shoulder to shoulder with state and federal partners so that our streets can be defended once again. Kind of like the visual I'm looking at right here. I see a lot of civilian leaders and police, law enforcement leaders in the front. And who's behind you? Men and women in camouflage, having your back every single day like we do in this mission. So thank you for working tirelessly to protect this state and restore law and order. And the results, they speak for themselves. That your presence has led to a massive reduction in crime, a reduction the good citizens of Memphis deserve. So thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership in restoring street by street, neighborhood by neighborhood. You are saving Memphis, Tennessee, and the country, and we are grateful for it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you. Mr. Governor, please.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to Tennessee, Mr. President, especially to the iconic, great American city that is Memphis. We oftentimes say Nashville's the heart of Tennessee, but Memphis is the soul. And great businesses here, remarkable people, a true, rich cultural history, but a serious problem. And I want to tell you, even for me, today's a very important day, even personally. I'm a man who has loved this city all of my life. My grandparents, my mom born and raised, my family here. As a young kid, spent time with my cousins roaming the community, the neighborhoods in this city. But sadly, for decades, that was not possible for children to do safely anymore. And to watch this great city be plagued by crime like it has for decades was a very tough thing for Tennesseans to do. But as was said earlier, what's happened in the last 6 months has changed that story entirely. And because of your leadership, Mr. President, putting together the Memphis Safe Task Force, putting these people, this leadership team in place, funding and making possible resources that have never before been made available to a city like has been made for Memphis. Because of that, because of the leadership here, and especially these men and women of law enforcement and the National Guard who have, in fact, gone shoulder to shoulder with not only the multiple agencies involved, but with the people of Memphis. What has happened here has created generational change and will create generational change, and it could not have happened except for what's happening and what we're celebrating here today. So the people of Memphis are grateful. This governor is grateful. I thank you for the work that's happened. And we are looking to the future. We believe that great things lie ahead for this city. There's a lot of work yet to be done. The General Assembly, and we are working together with the General Assembly to create legislation that will make certain that this is a lasting effect for our city. I'm very hopeful for the men and women of Memphis that have prayed for a long time that the violence would stop, for the businesses that have held strong to create jobs and opportunity for Tennesseans. I have a lot of hope for the future. I do believe and have believed all my life that this is a great city, and now it is on a trajectory of greatness beyond where it's been in the past. Thank you for that. And I will say, I want to introduce Stephen Miller to speak next. There is one person who showed up here early, actually multiple people at this table, but he said his commitment to whatever we needed for this city and for this task force to be successful. He committed that when this began, and it has happened. And we're not done, but the statistics speak for themselves. What Gaddy just read out a while ago is hard to imagine when we first started this just 6 months ago that these were going to be the results. There's more to go, but we're grateful for the work. And Stephen, your commitment to us Tennesseans truly are grateful for it. And your commitment to President Trump's strategy, not just to make Memphis safe, not just to make Tennessee safe, but to make all of America safe again. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Stephen?
Thank you. Well, first and most importantly, thank you to President Trump, whose vision and courage and determination has achieved something that if you had predicted it 15 months ago, people would have said it was impossible. If you had said 15 months ago that we would achieve the lowest national murder rate, not in 5 years or 10 years or 15 or 20 or 30 or 40, but in 125 years, nobody would have believed it possible. And President Trump did exactly that, and it is a miracle. Just think about this for a second. Under President Trump's leadership, the largest reduction in murders in American history, the largest reduction in violent crime in American history, the largest reduction in drug overdose deaths in American history, the largest reduction in fentanyl in American history, the largest reduction in illegal immigration in American history, and the largest number of criminals arrested, removed, or deported in American history, all done in 1 year. If I would just say this, if we had an honest media in this country, the statistics I just gave you would be 24/7 on the news. Nobody could have ever predicted such an achievement would be possible. The second thing I want to thank President Trump for is assembling the greatest national security and public safety team in American history. Because President Trump believes in merit, in competence, in people who get things done. So you look around the table of who President Trump chose for these jobs. You start with Rob or Gaddy or Pam or Pete, Cash, Todd, Terry, the whole entire team. What President Trump put together has never been rivaled in history. That's how you get things done. He chooses people based on their skill, their competence, their ability, their determination, their dedication, and their loyalty, and you're seeing the results. So I just want to again thank President Trump and, of course, thank the governor as well, who picked up that phone, called President Trump, and said, I want you to help make Memphis safe, although I bet the governor would agree he could never have imagined this safe, this quickly, this many people behind bars. And let's just remember that because of the work that President Trump is doing, not only in Memphis, not only in Washington, D.C., but all over the country, ultimately, it will save and is saving tens of thousands of American lives. It is, I'll use that word again, what President Trump has done on border security and public safety is a national miracle that will be studied not only for generations, but for centuries to come. Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you, Steve. So, Cash, see if you can top that. I don't know. That's a tough one, Cash.
That is tough. You know, Mr. President, as I look around this venue, I see, and I'm reminded again, why we have the greatest warriors on God's green earth, the men and women serving in uniform, the men and women serving and wearing the badge, and law enforcement, our police, our sheriffs around the state of Tennessee. I'm reminded that Americans exist to protect this country day in and day out, and they've done it like we've done it here. But what we didn't have was you. We didn't have a commander-in-chief who backed the blue, who resourced the blue, who funded the military, who did whatever it takes to safeguard every single life. And here in Memphis, Tennessee, you have put on a show for the world. You have allowed us to go out there and capture gangbangers, rapists, murderers, drug dealers at record historic levels. And for me, a first-generation Indian-American kid whose parents fled a genocide in East Africa to become the 9th director of the FBI. I'm living the wildest dream you could possibly imagine, sir, but it's thanks to you. But more importantly, what I see when I look out across our great partners here in the interagency and our great legislatures and our great prosecutors and our great attorney general who has the guts to go out there and make arrests, turn them into prosecutions and put people in prison, you are giving that dream to every single child in the state of Tennessee. You are inspiring the nation and law enforcement to come up and wear the badge and wear the colors of this country and safeguard our men and women for generations to come. This is an enduring mission, Mr. President, because you have made it enduring. It is going to go on for generations to come. They are going to try to achieve what you accomplished here, what Stephen said, in just one short year, and they're going to be doing it for decades because America was smart enough to elect you as our commander-in-chief. So while we're out there fighting for the dreams of our children, just know, Mr. President, how many millions of dreams like mine are going to be lived thanks to your brilliant leadership. Mr. President, thanks for delivering America the safest country on God's green earth.
Thank you very much, Greg. Pretty good. You did pretty good. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's great to be here with you today. And obviously we're in the hottest country, in the hottest state, and now the hottest city, thanks to you. So we appreciate your leadership in that endeavor. Also, it takes strong leadership, Mr. President, to do what you do. We thank you for that and have a strong team as well. But I'd like to say that I appreciate how resolute you are in your belief and your attitude. And I think that's a testament to making America first. Also, I want to thank you for delivering freedom. When we talk about crime, a lot of times we talk about normalcy. But people get used to high crime. They don't understand what low crime is. And in this city, unfortunately, it became a normal thing, seeing high crime. But you deliver freedom to the residents here in Memphis, as well as Governor Lee did. And it's as little as watching a kid or a child who said they had a bicycle in their living room, and now they're able to ride it outside. We take that for granted. We take that freedom for granted, but because of you, now here in the city of Memphis, kids can ride their bicycles outside, which they never had experienced before. And now what has happened when you have freedom, Mr. President, you have opportunity. You now have hope, you get independence, and then comes prosperity. And that's what making America great is all about. They can be anything they want to be. It doesn't matter where you start out. You can end up wherever you want to be, and that's exactly what you're doing, Mr. President. And then we can talk about crime statistics, but I want to thank you for saving hundreds of lives. And I mean by saving hundreds of lives, it's those individuals who were not shot and killed in the city of Memphis. Those are saved lives that have something else that God's going to give them to do in their life other than be a crime statistic. In your short period with your team's approach, there are 10,000 less victims in the city of Memphis. Think about that. Hundreds of lives saved, 10,000 less victims. That is an accomplishment that you have never seen in this aspect. And I appreciate your strong team, all your individuals here, also a brilliant mind, and Stephen Miller, who I've been able to work with. And we are working, as you said, on legislation, not only illegal immigration that we're going to lead the country in, which is working its way through the General Assembly, but we're going to Soros-proof the state of Tennessee once and for all. And we're going to take on bail. We're going to take on woke and soft on crime DAs. We've already done truth in sentencing. We're working on 3-strike legislation. But we have a strong General Assembly that will support the governor and me and Lieutenant Governor McNally, who's a great advocate in this endeavor. And the last thing I'll say, Mr. President, is I appreciate your resolve to not allow people's words to distract you from your destiny. Stephen Miller just laid out what that destiny looked like, which is untouched in our history. Thank you for being resolute and not allowing those who want to take you down or to cause you harm to allow you to continue fighting forward to make the America what we know it can be, as well as the city of Memphis. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. And now we have the ICE director, very important. He's done a fantastic job. Todd, please.
We're a law enforcement officer. Thank you for letting us do our job again.
That's the key thing. The men and women in this room that wear the badge every day, we know that we have a president that has our back. So because of you, we can go out and we can make America safe again. But honestly, sir, if you just look at what we did, this is what happens when strategy actually meets execution. Your model is delivering real results, securing communities and making neighborhoods safe. And if more cities would just take the lead and have the strength and constitution like the governor does to make their major cities safe again, this is a prime example of how to do it. This is a direct reflection, sir, of the model that you put in place. This and the Homeland Security task forces that you put into action with your executive order are really what's going to make a difference to this country. One thing, and Gaddy brought it up, was the Memphis interagency fraud cell. That's key to your promise to the American people that honest Americans that need that funding will get it. What we're doing is we're having a reduction in fraud when it comes to SNAP benefits, mail fraud, and Medicaid fraud. And that's key and important for true Americans that believed in you that you're going to make a difference to make this country great again. While this wasn't an immigration-led operation, sir, we did have 619 illegal aliens arrested, 7 of those which were Venezuelans that were paroled into this country or TDA gang members, 1 El Sal that raped a child, and another Honduras male that raped several children. Because of your leadership, we were able to get these violent criminals out of our neighborhoods. And, sir, Memphis going forward is going to be the example, as Mr. Miller said, for decades to come. So on behalf of the men and women of ICE, the special agents of Homeland Security, we thank you for your leadership.
Thank you very much, Judd. And just, if I might, so you're at the front of a storm. The Democrats have caused lots of problems at the airports and all other places, too. We shouldn't be in this position, especially when we're in conflict elsewhere. But how are you doing, and how is ICE doing at the airports and helping out?
Sir, just have the opportunity to help our other fellow officers at Department of Homeland Security. We're doing great. We're going to make sure that your promise is kept, that we're going to help those lines move, and we're going to make people safe. And no one should be nervous to go to the airport because we're going to make sure that every traveler in spring break has a safe journey.
I appreciate it. Great job. You're doing a great job. Thank you very much. Rob Cicada, please. Rob.
Task Force, your leadership empowered ATF and all of our state and local partners to focus on the most dangerous criminals operating in Memphis. Violent repeat felons, many walking the streets despite having 3, 4, and 5 felony convictions, are no longer doing so. They're no longer walking these streets without the fear of federal and state local and state law enforcement getting together and taking them off the streets. We focused our efforts on the most violent gang members operating in Memphis, so much so that we've decapitated the leadership of the Rich and Ruthless gang and the Vice Lord gangs operating here in Memphis. Their leadership, their membership is currently running the streets without any sort of direction. The gang members are falling apart. They're weakened. Their ability to coordinate and commit violent crimes are broken down because of the Memphis Safe Task Force. We've also been able to identify numerous firearms trafficking task force. Some of the evidence items that you see here were recovered from violent gang members. Many of these firearms were converted from semi-automatic weapons to be able to accept machine gun conversion devices, which now allow these rifles and pistols to shoot full auto. Those weapons were used by the gang members to terrorize this community and commit numerous homicides and numerous aggravated assaults. Those networks were identified and removed from operations. One in particular was operating 3 3D printing machines, making machine gun conversion devices in his house when search warrants were executed by ATF and our Memphis Safe Task Force partners. We are continually focused on preventing violent crime. In one instance, while we were out of patrol with our state and local partners, our agents responded to a shooting that had just occurred, located a victim that sustained serious gunshot injuries. Agents were able to render first aid on the scene and prevent that victim from bleeding out. Victim was transported to the hospital and ultimately survived because of the Memphis Safe Task Force being here. Our agents regularly talk to the members of the community. The community, when we first arrived, was in visible fear. They were afraid to walk out of their homes to the corner store. They were afraid to sit in their front yards because of being in fear of being victimized of a drive-by shooting. Those people are now approaching our agents and our partners, thanking us every day for being out there and taking the fear away from them so they and their family members could walk their communities and sit in their front yards and talk to their neighbors without fear of being killed or shot. So thank you for your support of law enforcement and for creating the Memphis Safe Task Force. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Robin. You do a fantastic job. Thank you very much. One of the best crime fighters I know really from personal experience, because I've watched him more in D.C. than here, but I get the reports on what's happening in Memphis. And Terry Cole, please say a few words. Great job.
Mr. President, thank you for your leadership. It has given law enforcement the tools and the support to take this fight directly to the local street gangs, but also the cartels, the designated terrorists that are killing Americans. Your leadership is attacking not only the local street gangs here, but it's attacking the cartels in Mexico. It's attacking the cartels in Venezuela. It's attacking the cartels in Colombia and Ecuador. And it's setting the example for the world to see that they are designated terrorists. They are fueling the violence in our streets. The DEA, along with our local task forces, are disrupting the supply chain, dismantling networks, and saving American lives. This is America first. This is Americans first. The DEA is proud to stand along with our federal, state, tribal, and local partners here in Memphis with our amazing military and National Guard. The work has just started, Mr. President. We will take the battle wherever the battle leads us. But one thing can be rest assured. After you take Maduro out of Venezuela, after you take Mencho out of Mexico, after your diplomatic pressure forces the Mexicans to make a record seizure last week of 270 kilograms of fentanyl that was destined for the United States, this is truly due to your leadership. It's due to your partnership with law enforcement that enables us to do our job. A few small seizures from this task force is represented in front of you. Close to 190 kilograms of cocaine, close to 50 pounds of methamphetamine. But more importantly, this task force seized enough fentanyl to kill in lethal dosages close to 20 million Americans. 20 million Americans. In a separate case just outside of Memphis, working with our state and local law enforcement partners, we seized another 25 million lethal doses of fentanyl that was heading to our cities, heading to our streets. I will tell you, Mr. President, in my 3 tours here to Memphis to put on the gun, to put on the vest, and to go out in the community, I was welcomed. I was welcomed not only by an amazing Highway Patrol colonel and his team, but I was welcomed by the community. I was invited to front porches. I was invited to an ice cream social. But that was in between the hard work of the men and women of the DEA and this task force that we're conducting daily. See, personally, I served 4 search warrants with the amazing men and women of DEA and the Memphis Police Department and Tennessee Highway Patrol because I believe in the mission of where you lead from the front. So thank you for giving us at the DEA the power to do our job again. Thank you for giving us these amazing relationships with these task forces and the Homeland Security Task Force and the Memphis Task Force and the Washington, D.C. Task Force. There's no command we won't go out and complete, Mr. President. We're here to execute your orders. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for this amazing opportunity to make America safe again, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Great job. So just in finishing up, we have 2 great people that happen to live here. One's a business owner and a good one, and one's a good one, also a resident. And we're going to ask you both to say a few words, please.
Mr. President, thank you for saving Memphis, and thank you for asking me to share my story. My name is Tim Pugh. I'm a co-founder and president of Pugh's Earthworks and Pugh's Flowers. My brothers and I have 2 family-owned businesses in Memphis, and this year marks our 50th year in business. since we started our American dream. My entire family, including our new grandbaby, is living and working in Memphis. We want our family to feel and be safe. We have many friends that have moved away and encouraged their children to move away because of the escalating crime. We love Memphis and call it our home and would never want to move away. The crime in Memphis has affected my businesses. We've had several delivery vans full of flowers stolen as we're at the front door of someone's house delivering. Turn around and the van was gone. We've had landscape equipment stolen from job sites, so now we have to lock each piece of equipment to the truck while we're working on a property. And because of multiple break-ins, including one night we had 5 vans with the catalytic converter stolen on all 5. Due to repeated theft, we had to install an electric fence and multiple cameras around our main store to prevent this theft. All of this adds significant financial burdens and man hours. In the spring of last year, members of one of my landscape crews were robbed at gunpoint. This type of action became too normal in this city that I was raised in, and honestly, I felt that we were on a path of no return. How could we continue to operate our business when theft was rampant and, God forbid, lives were lost? Thankfully for you, Mr. President, we don't have to live and operate that way anymore. We have a great police force in Memphis, but they just needed reinforcements to get the crime under control. So thank you for bringing in those much-needed reinforcements. Our mayor has done a good job. Each week he's sending out emails of the progress. And just last Friday, he reported that crime was down well over 40%. Honestly, Mr. President, I feel like crime is down 100%. And that is because of what you've done. We want Memphis to grow and prosper, and to do that, you must have a low crime rate. People have to feel safe. That wasn't the case before, but now it is. Thank you to the task force and our city leaders for working together to make this happen. And thank you, Mr. President. Memphis owes you a lot of gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tim. Thank you. Great. And your business is doing well. That's great. It's going to get better and better. You watch. Thank you very much. Delisha?
Thank you so much, Mr. President. It is a complete honor to be here with you today. Thank you for saving Memphis. My name is Delicia Ballinger, and I'm a lifelong Memphian, and I'm a mother. And I wanted to speak with you today, not just as a citizen, but as a mom who's lived through what Memphis has become. I remember a different Memphis. I remember when the city felt alive, when families didn't have to think twice about safety, when kids could just go outside and just be kids. We had places to go, things to do, and a sense of pride about where we come from. But over the years, that Memphis has faded. And what it was replaced with was fear. Before the Memphis Safe Task Force, I just didn't hear about crime, I lived it. I watched friends and people that I love lose their lives to the senseless violence. I've attended funerals that never should have happened. I've seen families torn apart, mothers grieving, and children growing up without parents, all because of violence that felt like it would never end. And those moments stay with you. They change how you see everything. But nothing's changed me more than becoming a mother. Because now, it wasn't just my life that I was worried about, it was my children. There were days where I wouldn't let them go outside, not because I didn't want them to, but because I was afraid what would happen if I did. And the fear of stray bullets, the sounds of gunshots at night, constantly wondering if they were truly safe. And that fear became real in a way that no mother should ever have to experience. At just 5 years old, I could have lost my son. There was a drive-by shooting, and a random bullet came through my home in that very same space where my son played. And to that day, this bullet hole is still in my wall, a permanent reminder of how close I came to losing everything. My family we are good people, We work hard every day to have everything that we have, only to have it taken away from us. We've experienced multiple burglaries in our home, and it wasn't just the material things that were stolen, it was our sense of security, our peace, our livelihood. And that violence just wasn't inside of our home, it was all around us. Just literally 4 houses down from where I live, a grandmother and her child were shot. I remember what sounded like almost 30 gunshots ring out. Yellow tape covered the street. After that day, those neighbors never returned. Their home now, with a for sale sign, stands as a reminder of a fear so deep that they couldn't come back to the place where they almost lost their lives. And that feeling, that fear, is something that my family knows all too well. That is not how families are supposed to live. That is not how children are supposed to grow up. We've reached out for help. For years, we looked to our local leaders hoping that something, anything would change. But nothing did. And that was until you, my president, stepped in. I need you to understand what that meant for families like mine, because in a matter of weeks, we felt a difference. Today, I can sit out on my porch and drink tea in peace. My children can go outside and play in our backyard again, and for the first time in 5 years, I don't hear any gunshots in my neighborhood. It's been almost 6 months, and it's like a whole new world. That silence means everything to me. It means safety. It means peace. It means that I can breathe again as a mother. What years of waiting couldn't fix, you did it in just 3 weeks. And I'll never forget that. My family will never forget that. And what's even more powerful is that that impact did not stop there. Because of the Memphis Safe Task Force, it has sparked continued efforts right here at home, like the Make Memphis Matter movement, led by the incredible, the most awesome State Senator Brent Taylor, starting in 2023, who is putting his best foot forward every day to continue the mission to make it a safer Memphis and to hold our SOARs back DA accountable at a state level, and partnering with amazing Senators Hagerty and Blackburn on the federal level. And it's because of leadership like that, I believe that Memphis can become that place that I once remembered. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for seeing communities like mine. Thank you for taking action. Thank you for putting Americans first, especially right here in Shelby County in Memphis. Because this isn't politics for me. This is my life. This is for my children. In fact, President Trump, my son, my beautiful son, is here today, and he would like to wave and say thank you, because now he's free to live a normal childhood. Braylon, stand up for me, baby. And because of that change, we finally have a sense of normal again. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I truly don't have the words to share how much I appreciate you. Thank you so much, sir. Memphis loves you, President Trump. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow. I don't know, Delisha. I think we're going to have to give her MVP, right? MVP, Delisha. That's a great job. Thank you very much. I think she has to run for office. Would you like to become a Republican? She said, I am a Republican. I love this. Anyway, great job. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Really beautiful. So you're going to see some fantastic results. You already have, but you're going to see some numbers that are going to bring you into a level that few cities attain. I want to thank the governor. I want to thank the state. The state is just a fantastic state. The first day I stepped in it, we were leading by 30 points, and it never went down. It just only went up. So it's something special. We have a bond. We have a special bond. You know, you can be a politician, but when you win something in landslide, you have a very, very great feeling. And I want to tell you, this is a very, very successful, beautiful state, and I love Tennessee. Thank you very much, and congratulations to Memphis, and fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, very much. Thank you.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Wow, I had no idea that was going to last just about all of 2 hours, him talking. And he closed it perfectly because that young woman talking about her kids and her family and how much her life changed, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So powerful. Of course, the media won't show it. In fact, the media didn't even stay on. And I was flipping all different channels. I was on Newsmax, I was on News Nation, I was on Fox, and nope, they just went away like it didn't even exist. So they tell their own narratives. It's up to you to tell the correct narrative. In fact, if I'm probably going to clip that lady talking, and I'll post that as a singular video by itself because I think her story deserves to be told. Now, I got a couple of things I want to go over with you. Before, like I was telling you, I firmly believe at this point that what President Trump has done over the last couple of days had a number of designs to it. I think it was also designed to basically attack the market and come at it from a different perspective and open your eyes as to how everything is being manipulated. Just checking right now, this is where everything is sitting. Let me refresh it so we get the most accurate numbers. The Dow is up 800 points. It's up 800 points and nothing has changed. They are still bombing. The information that President Trump said that he wasn't going to bomb the infrastructure, but they're still carrying out missions. They're still blowing stuff up. And since I can't wait to see what he posts afterwards, because right now he's just got off stage and he doesn't know what they've been posting while he's been talking. So maybe all bets are off and it's time to obliterate Iran. Because let me show you what happened. Major development, they're calling it. The man Trump claimed he was negotiating with just said this is fake news by Trump to manipulate the financial and oil markets. I don't know. I kind of said that too, but this guy has a lot more to lose than I do because now he's calling President Trump a liar. And as Mario says, this means one of two things. Trump lied or the IRGC pressured the Iranian negotiator to pull out of the talks. I think we both can see it's probably number two. Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. They're going to get to the bottom of it really quickly. In fact, there's probably a phone call waiting for President Trump as soon as he got off stage. What's going on? Because here's the guy that they were supposedly talking to. Iranian people demand complete and remorseful punishment of the aggressors. All Iranian officials stand firmly behind their supreme leader and people until this goal is achieved. No negotiations have been held, and you can see the time frame. This was put out while President Trump was talking at 12:15, and he referenced a tweet from 15 minutes prior. No negotiations have been held with the United States, and fake news is used to manipulate the financial and oil markets and escape the quagmire in which the U.S. and Israel are trapped. So, maybe somebody's kidnapped his wife and said we're going to put her head on a pile or something. And all of a sudden now, no, we're not negotiating with Trump. It's all a lie. Have you ever gotten, I don't know, and I'm not going to put on a tinfoil hat, but have you wondered at all, and this is completely what my mindset was as I read that and I heard President Trump talking, you get the feeling that nobody in Iran is in control. And what I mean by that is you have to wonder, well, you don't have to, I'm wondering if this is all being arranged, run, managed, choreographed by the deep state. Are the puppets in Iran being run by somebody else, some group that says this is what you're going to do and this is what you're going to say? Something at this point's not starting to make any sense with me, and I'm thinking openly as I'm talking to you. There's no way President Trump went on national TV early this morning, if you follow the time frame, at 7 and 7:30, told CNBC and Maria Bartiromo, here's what's getting ready to happen. He did this before the stock market opens. I want to show you on True Social. Let me pull this up because here's where it is. President Trump wrote this, and you got to look at the time. He posted this at 7:23. So at 7:23 a.m., prior to the markets open, President Trump said, we're going to be sitting down. We've had some good calls. We're going to do this with Iran. Things are going to work out. Everything's going to be okay. And I'm going to call a 5-day pause. I am pleased to report the United States of America and a country of Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations. I want to bring your attention to these words right here. The country of Iran. Doesn't say leaders, doesn't say Ayatollah. Who are they talking to? President hasn't mentioned any names yet. People are speculating. Is it this guy? Is it that guy? Is this good? Nobody knows. That's a very oddly constructed post. I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations, and then we're going to calm everything down. We're not going to go crazy. Who's he talking to? Who's in charge? You know, when you hear country of Iran, and I had posted a comment in the tweets, you have to wonder, are they currently having their own civil war? Are there people over here who are saying, we'll go along with you and do it this way, and then the hardliners, i.e. deep state, are like, no, we're going to keep fighting to the death. Remember I told you long ago, well, it can't be that long ago, February 28th, you're up against an adversary who doesn't care about winning and losing. This is an ideology that when you sit across from them, they're not negotiating from the same perspective as you are. You're negotiating, how can we end this? How do people move forward? They're negotiating from perspective of, we want you dead. No place to go. Okay, you want to talk to Netanyahu? Nope. He's a dog. We want him dead. There is no negotiating. So when he says he's talking to the country of Iran, who is the country of Iran? As President Trump said, I've blown up this dude and we've blown up this guy. Who are we talking to? Because right now they're like, nope, I don't know nothing about it. Trump lied to manipulate the financial markets. Oh, wait. Think about that. I still have Mario's thing here. Yeah. Think about what this guy just posted. Read what his second comment is. No negotiations have been held with U.S. and fake news is used to manipulate the financial and oil markets and escape the quagmire in which the U.S. and Israel are trapped. There's a couple terms in there that I just don't see the people over in Iran using. I don't see Iranians using the term fake news. Just doesn't seem like a word or a phrase that they would use. And then the word quagmire, that's an American phrase. That's an American word. And then lastly, as I look at this, if this is all about the Ali Ali snack bar people, what the hell do you care about the financial and oil markets? You anti-capitalist, right? No, don't say right. You're anti-capitalist. You don't care about the market. So why would you be concerned about somebody manipulating the market one way or the other unless that's exactly what you're doing? Was that just a return volley serve back to somebody else? Hey, he's manipulating the oil markets. We're the ones who are supposed to be doing that, not him. And of course, being an American, the American markets, it went almost vertical as the oil went this way, the price of oil. So there's something that doesn't make a lot of sense. Something tells me by the time I sit with you guys tonight at 7 o'clock, we're going to see a lot more information come out. And this is really big. If by some chance all of this was bull crap so they could try to embarrass President Trump, well, then guess what happens at 7:45 tonight? Boom. Maybe not right at 7:45, but again, to understand that, you have to read what President Trump posted here. I am pleased to report the United States of America and the country of Iran have had, over the last 2 days, very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East. Based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week. All right, so you've got the predicate. Predicate meaning here's the condition under which we won't bomb the hell out of you. So if he says that condition, based upon the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week, I have instructed the Department of War to postpone, not cancel, any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period. And here you go. Subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions. So he didn't issue an edict saying, we're done, no more bombings are happening. He said, I will agree to pause subject to, conditional upon you people getting your act together. You don't get your act together, there's no pause. So if you have broke bad today and you think you are, Billy Badass Ayatollah, and you're like, oh, President Trump's lying, well, those don't seem like they're going to be subject to productive ongoing discussions. Ergo, if you challenge the man on the veracity of what he said, and you're going to go after him for lying to the American people and manipulating the markets, those don't sound conducive to, good discussions. Ergo, if you already broke that, if you've already went back on your word from whatever phone calls were made, then 745 is still on, bitches. At which point, watch what happens tonight. I want to be on the air at 7 o'clock because I want to know what he posts. I want to know what he says, because remember, this all happened while he was talking. He was out there. He's talking to a large group, talking to Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and the governor of Tennessee and Pete Hegseth. And nobody knows right now, hey, these guys are over there running their mouths. What do you mean? Oh, they're talking all kinds of crap about you, Donnie. Oh, they're saying you're lying. You lied, bro. They're saying you made it up. They're saying you're just trying to manipulate the markets. Oh, so you want to piss this man off. You want to piss off the guy who just said to you, we're good, we're going to hold it for 5 days. And you're giving him the middle finger. Because that's how Trump's going to, wait a minute. Who said this? Who posted it? And whoever it is that they've been talking to, you better have the right answer when he picks up I'm telling you right now, we're going to put you on speakerphone and he's going to ask. So you better have the right answer. The right answer is, I don't know what they did, Donald. That's not us. These guys are doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Somebody stole my phone. They hacked it. Because if they get on their phone and say, yeah, I said it. Okay. Now I know. I've given you every chance. Don't look up. Get in your holes. Do whatever you need to do. Game on. I would never, ever want to have an adversary who could take me out that I would call out in public and say, you're a piece of crap. Well, he didn't say the words, but essentially, you're a piece of crap. You're just playing. You don't got nothing. We don't care who you are. Donald Trump. And right about now, he's in the Beast or he's in the back room someplace and he's reading what I just showed you. What do you mean I'm a liar? What do you mean I made it up? Hope your 72 virgins are up there doing the dance because you're about to meet some if this is what indeed happened. And I'm sure we're going to hear about that in the news. So in that regard, 7 o'clock is on. We're going to see what happens over the next 4 or 5 hours. But before we go, I want to show you prior to getting at this event in Memphis, he talked early this morning. Again, you saw the talk on C-SPAN. You saw the speech or the phone call he made with Maria Bartiromo. And then just before getting on the plane, he said this.
You gave a $10,000 bonus. Sorry. Last year you gave a $10,000 bonus to UK workers who kept showing up to work during the shutdown. Please do that again.
Well, it could happen. It's amazing. There's people that are really, really loyal and great, and it's not easy for them. And this is all caused by the Democrats. Just so you know, all this money was approved. Everything was approved. This is done. The Democrats went in, and they want to have radical left lunatics come into our country. They want to have drug dealers. They want to have murderers come into our country. They want to have open borders, and we're not letting it happen. That's what this is all about. They don't want voter ID. They don't want proof of citizenship. They don't want mail-in ballots. They're so corrupt. What they want, the only thing they want is mail-in ballots. So we also added, as you know, into the Save America Act. And it's called Save America. It's not the Save Act. But we added no transgender mutilization of our children and no men in women's sports.
Elon Musk, if these talks go well and you reach
I don't think he's going to be a Newsmax.
If these talks go well and you reach a ceasefire agreement with Iran, do you believe Israel would abide by that agreement?
I think Israel will be very happy with what we have. We just spoke to Israel a little while ago. I think they'll be very happy. This will be peace for Israel, long-term peace, guaranteed peace. If this happens, and I can't guarantee it, but I think it's going to. My life is a deal. That's all I do is deals my whole life. I think this is something that's going to happen. And why wouldn't it happen? So tomorrow,
morning sometime, their time, we were expected to blow up their largest electric generating plants that cost over $10 billion to build. It's a very good one. There was no dearth of money. And one shot, it's gone. It collapses. Why would they want that? So they called. I didn't call. They called. They want to make a deal. And we are very willing to make a deal. It's got to be a good deal. And it's got to be no more wars, no more nuclear weapons. They're not going to have nuclear weapons anymore. They're agreeing to that. Any of that stuff, there's no deal.
All right. So this was at 9:41, 9:42. As you can see, he's getting ready to go up into the airplane. And he said, anything that you don't do, no deal. So as of right now, he hasn't posted. I'm sure SV will check it out, because there's going to be a post imminently that's going to say what is, or maybe you don't post. Maybe he finds out and he confirms these people were full of crap, and then boom. Now, what was interesting, what he said there, he said tomorrow morning, meaning 7:45, they never planned on bombing tonight. Tomorrow morning, which would be probably nighttime. I don't know what the time conversion is over in Iran. So they weren't, even though they went past the deadline at 7:45, which is probably daytime over there, they want to wait till nighttime, which would be tomorrow morning. I don't know.
Offer to reopen. You said you want to get the enriched uranium. How are you going to get the enriched uranium? Are you going to send?
It's very easy. If we have a deal with them, we're going down and we'll take it ourselves.
Can I ask you, the Treasury lifted sanctions on Iranian oil that was out to sea. You criticized President Obama for giving Iran $1.7 billion.
Well, I just want to have as much oil in the system as possible.
But Iran is
and we don't even know if Iran gets that money. Frankly, I think it's very hard for them to get it. But you have ships that are out there that are loaded up with oil. Rather than keep it there, I would rather see it go to the system. Any small amount of money that Iran gets is not going to have any difference in this war. But I want to have the system be lubricated.
Even $14 billion, you don't think helps them?
Where's the $14 billion?
Because the inflated price, they get $14 billion from the...
This is Caitlin Collins telling President Trump what Iran gets from the oil stuff, even after Scott Besson has been all over television. The people who control her are telling her that the United States is going to allow Iran to get $14 gazillion to do what they want with. And weren't you mad when President Obama sent them the money? What an idiot. It's amazing, this press. They never fail to fail.
I don't think they're getting the money. I could tell you, when this is all over, I will tell you who's getting the money.
Mr. President, the Marines from California, given...
At some point, doesn't it bruise their ego to be completely, I'll let you know who's getting the money. Oh my gosh.
It'll take them weeks to arrive. Is the intention to police the strait or take cars?
What are you talking about?
Well, it's been reported that there are Marines that left California, left San Diego last week, at the end of the week. Why are they headed there now?
Well, let me ask you this. If you were in my position and I asked you that question, do you really believe I'd give you that? It's a crazy question.
In case you guys don't feel like I do, I just want to tell you, I was watching this with Robin this morning, and I'm like, these people don't understand. This man and his administration don't have one F to give. They're so used to other people going, oh, well, I'd like to. You're stupid. You're asking me a question I would never give you the answer to. You're dumb. Okay? And they're not used to this because, oh my God, it's inappropriate. No, this man was, well, we know it. We know what they've done to him. And if they don't realize it at this point, this guy really doesn't give a crap, does he? He's going to burn it all down if he has to. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Count on it. Any inappropriateness or decorum that you thought, hey, he won't go over that line. Oh, he's wiping his butt with that line. In fact, if we take a second here and we recap what he said during the Memphis thing we just watched. The prevailing thing that he said, which everybody has to now understand, is he elevated voter ID to a national security issue. He spent a long time talking about voter ID is national security. So again, if you watch my show, and what I've tried to tell you is, you see where the puck is going. I told you that was coming. Scott Besson said, what? Economic security is national security. You see where they're going with this stuff.
Mr. President, we don't talk about strategy. Yeah?
Another young woman was killed by an illegal immigrant. That was why they announced the Biden administration.
Let in by Biden.
Give a message for her family.
It's devastating. These people were let in by Biden. We're getting them out. We're getting them out fast. That's why ICE is so important. They're doing such a good job. This animal, I saw the whole thing last night. They gave me a briefing. Came in through Joe Biden with his open door policy, and his border czar, Kamala, who never saw the border, never made one phone call. All the ICE people, you see, they all know me. Everyone knows me. They like me. I speak to them all the time. Didn't make one phone call during 4 years. She was the border czar to anybody on the border. Never went there. This person came in through the open door policy of Joe Biden, and we have others. We're taking them out by the tens of thousands. We're doing a great job, but it's a shame. They've hurt our country. Just remember this. Joe Biden and that gang of radical left lunatics, some very smart, but radical left and bad ideology, sick people. These people have hurt our country very badly.
Are we directly talking with Iran?
Those uranium power plants. How is that different from what Russia has been doing in Ukraine by any Ukrainian power?
Well, I think it's a lot different. And if you look at the nuclear weapons that they wanted to have, that they wanted to possess, a lot of things are different. I'm not a fan of what Russia's doing either, just so you understand. All right? But it's a lot different. You're talking about a country that has been evil for 47 years. They've been horrible. Death all over the world, not just us. Look at the way they attacked unexpectedly all of those countries surrounding them. It was not supposed to be. Nobody was even thinking about it. But they wanted to take over the Middle East, and they wanted to knock out Israel permanently. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have been able to do that.
Are we the president talking to Iran?
Mr. President, do you know whether Joe Kent was leaking?
Look, I'm not a fan of the guy. If you look at, and you never cover this, if you look at his truths or whatever he went on, if it's X or truth, if you look at his truths or his statements, he was all for everything. All of a sudden, he wasn't. He was a man that I met at Dover. He came and his wife was killed. He remarried fairly quickly. His wife was killed, and I felt badly for him. He ran for Congress, he lost. He ran for Congress again and he lost. I said, you know, he's a guy, nice guy, seemed like a very nice guy. I met him, he was pretty heartbroken, but I said, you know, it's a shame. He ran for Congress twice. Call him up, give him a job in the White House. Smart. They gave him a job in the White House, and this is what he does to me, you know? Being a nice guy doesn't pay off too much.
Mr. President.
Think of it. He loses twice in Congress, ran not very good campaigns, should have won, but he loses twice. How do I get him? I have my people call him, because I didn't deal with him for the most part. I saw him a couple of times, but I never dealt with him at all. I had no idea his ideology was left or right, whatever it is. I can say this. He said very strongly that Iran is not a threat. Iran's been a threat for 47 years, and there's not a country in the world that doesn't agree with me on that. So I take this guy, Joe Kent, who lost twice for Congress, pretty badly and tough, and was devastated, and I know that he lost his wife. So instead of letting him live out his life, I brilliantly have my people call him and offer him a job in security, essentially, in the White House. And what does he do? He goes out and he says that Iran is not a threat to get publicity. Now, he probably signed up with CNN or maybe he signed up with your division of Newsmax, I don't know, but probably signed up with CNN or somebody. But if you look at his tweets, X's or Truths, whatever he uses, I don't know because I don't follow him. What he said is 100% he agrees with me. All of a sudden he leaves. I never knew he had a problem. Now I hear they're looking at him for leaking. That's possible. But just so you understand, just to put it to rest, he lost twice badly. He also lost his wife. He's remarried since. He lost his wife. I felt badly for him. So I told my people, reach out to him, give him a job at the White House. This is the thanks I get. Any other questions?
He said Iran was not an imminent threat, that's what the intelligence showed.
I think it was an imminent threat. I think that Iran, if we didn't bomb them with the B-2 bombers, now that set them back, but if we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks to a month. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it as soon as they got it.
If you obliterated their nuclear sites last summer with your strikes, then how can you argue it was an imminent threat now?
Oh, we hit them.
Breaking news into the Fanfare news feed.
They gave them reason, and he actually made America great. Yeah. He really did. He gave people reason to feel that they deserve something, regardless of where they came from, regardless of who their parents were, regardless of anything. He gave them the belief that they could be anything they wanted to be.
And does his music sell better today than it did during his prime?
He actually, the estate makes more money today than it ever made while Elvis was alive, even when accounting for inflation. Our new epic, which you really need to see, and hopefully you can in the White House, the new Baz Luhrmann epic biography, just incredible, broke all records for any, beat the Beatles, beat Led Zeppelin, any other music biography. So he's really as relevant or more relevant today than he's ever been.
You need to see it. That's to see all these people. These are the biggest people in the country. There's our Attorney General in case you get in trouble. Would you help out Elvis? Elvis maybe, I don't know, gets a little bit of a pass. Not much. We're not allowed to give much of a pass. But he was great. You're a big fan of Elvis, Pamela.
My mother was, especially.
Yeah. Elvis loved law enforcement. He actually donated a lot of money to law enforcement. He wanted a badge so badly that he threatened the Shelby County sheriff that if he didn't get a badge, he'd run against them to get the badge. So he has a collection of... He would have been tough to beat.
Yes, we have a collection of over 200 badges in our collection.
Is Elvis beatable? What do you think? CNN would say no.
Have you been here before, Mr. President, or is this your first time?
I've never been here, no. I'm a big fan of Elvis. Who isn't, right? But I think he's great. I think his music is incredible. I understood his life. His life was, complicated, right? It was complicated. But he was terrific, sure. And he was born with a voice that he never lost, right?
Yes, exactly.
He had other difficulties, but he never lost the voice.
The last thing.
Yeah.
And Graceland really is the fulfillment of a childhood promise one day that Elvis made to his parents to buy them a big house so that he could take care of them. And that's what Graceland represents.
Well, he loved his mom.
Yes.
So much. I think the father, but he really loved his mom. And
yes.
I think when his mom went, it was very hard for him, right?
Very, very hard. Yeah. And really, Graceland is probably the most positive thing that when foreigners come from all over the world, tens of millions of foreigners come to Graceland, it's what they really represent, the best of America, because Elvis really represented the best of America.
Well, you're getting a lot of publicity today with all of these. You have all the fake news media here. Look at this. I mean, you ever see so much? Do you get treated, tell me, does Elvis get treated better than me? Because with me, it's fake news. With Elvis, it was a little fake news too.
I think in the UK we're about the same as you.
No, really?
So you have some from both. It's people want to. He was so revolutionary and so important that I think that brilliance people are afraid of. Yeah. And I think people who are afraid of brilliance have to lash out.
Wow, it was special. Please.
We have a few more things over here I wanted to show you. So if you'll just come this way.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a portrait of Elvis that was done when he was in basic training in Fort Hood, Texas. And it shows you Elvis's natural hair color of blonde. He was born with blonde hair, blue eyes. He dyed his hair black because he thought it brought his facial features better out on film. And so he started doing that after his first movie, Love Me Tender. This is actually the oldest guitar in our collection. It's a 1956 Gibson J200. Elvis used it in the movies Loving You, Jailhouse Rock, and King Creole, and then used it in Vegas in 69 and 70. And then at the top of the stairs, we have the outfit that Elvis wears at the end of the 68 comeback special when he sang the song If I Can Dream, which was especially written for the show. After the assassination of Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy, Elvis felt like he needed to make a statement of how America could be. And so that's what If I Can Dream represents. And he ended the show wearing that outfit right there.
So he loved this place, right?
He did. And he loved his country. And yeah, everything you see in the house is original. All the furnishings, all the drapes, everything that you're seeing is original. The chandelier above the stairs was actually taken apart here in the hallway to be reassembled because it was too large to fit through any of the doors.
Oh.
Yeah. And then we're going to come this way. This would have been the master bedroom, the primary room in the house. You can come on in.
All right, so there goes the president to offer a tour of Graceland. I guess he'll...
If they come back out and you can see him, I'll pull it back up. Thanks, SB, for giving me that note. But they went into a bedroom or something. I did not know that Elvis was blonde hair and blue eyes. I can't even imagine him looking that way. Blonde hair, blue eyes, Elvis. Wow. Whew, wow. What a beautiful dude. Let's see what SB's got, because there's so much breaking news. You got anything, bro?
You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
my wife just texted me, so I wasn't going to say it, but as soon as I talk Elvis, she'd have left me for Elvis.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah, Elvis comes on television. She's like, oh, got to turn on. There's Elvis. Even fat Elvis, she didn't care. But anyway, what's going on? Anything with Iran and who's lying and who's telling the truth? Any of that kind of information?
A couple of things here. I mean, 15 minutes ago, it was posted by Mario. It says Israel's Channel 12 is reporting that Iran has agreed to freeze its missile program for 5 years as part of emerging talks. If true, that's not a ceasefire. That's a restructuring of the entire Middle East security architecture. Single source, unverified, but the kind of headline that if it holds, it changes everything.
Who? I guess that's where we got to keep going back to. One guy says, no, we're not doing anything. Somebody else says, which tells you there's some sort of power play happening in that country right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There's two factions, and one faction is saying, no, we're going to play to the death, which you might get. And then the other side of the coin are people saying, we got a deal done. But who knows? It's crazy.
Well, the stock market's going crazy. It's up almost 900 points.
Wow.
S&P's up over 100. It's going crazy right now. Prosperity. I love it.
And on top of that, I don't know if you've been following. I was going to cover it. I'll cover it in detail tonight. But from the comments I've been reading, it seems as though the mail-in ballots thing is going to be in trouble. Judge Alito said something that was phenomenal. Actually, they're talking about it right now. Hold on one second.
States have some kind of grace period after Election Day. So the implications of this decision in this case today could be widespread heading into the midterms. Now, Justice Alito was among those who appeared to think voting should be wrapped by Election Day proper. Here's his take.
We have lots of phrases that involve two words, the second of which is day. Labor Day, Memorial Day, George Washington's birthday, Independence Day, birthday, and Election Day. And they're all particular days.
He says by that logic, it should be extended to Election Day. Everything is to be in by that day. Sandra will know what the rest of the court thinks to, end of the term, we think, probably late June by the time we get this decision.
Got it.
Can you imagine if they lose mail-in ballots? I can't even imagine. All right, SV, I'm gonna continue with the show. It's crazy. We got just a little bit more.
Thank you, Barry.
A little bit more, President. Thank you, President Trump.
See you all
speaking.
later.
All right.
So hard we obliterated them, but that doesn't mean with the right equipment you can't dig down and go get it. We don't want that, and we won't have that. But we obliterated that site. They still haven't been able to get it. That was a complete success. But if it wasn't, they would have had, if we didn't hit them, if we didn't use the B-2 bombers, which are unbelievable. We just ordered 22 more of them, modern version, by the way, super modern version. If we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers, they would have had, within 2 weeks of that attack, that's why we hit them, because we knew they would have had a nuclear weapon. They would have used it on Israel and the entire Middle East.
Overall crime in Memphis is down 43% since you began this task force. Is this a template you think is working?
What I'm doing?
Always came back to Memphis, and whenever he talked about Memphis, it was always home, and that's what this represents.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yep.
And now it's safe again.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yep. So our next up, and this is a staircase that Elvis would come down to the kitchen. So when he would come downstairs, he really wouldn't come down the main stairs. That's really formal for him. He would normally come down these stairs here into the kitchen.
That's terrific.
Mm-hmm.
He was something.
Mm-hmm.
He was something. Nobody like him.
So now we're going to the basement. Watch your step, please.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. There's lots of mirrors. It's a mirrored line staircase.
What are we doing?
Reposition over here. You know where Ellie is.
Watch out, steps. CNN TV only.
All right, so we'll come back to that as soon as they get all back in place. Trump's got these people running all through Graceland right now. You know, this place was probably high-tech, beautiful back in the 70s. And now as you're looking at it, you're like, it's kind of dated with that old paneling and everything else on it, and the crappy carpet looking. But that's, back then, that was probably it. That was probably, I mean, here, they're still showing it. Let me pull it up here.
Oh, you're leveled over. You'll have a better view. You can see him coming down. Highway.
You want a funny story about the furniture here? Vernon, Elvis's dad, came home one day and said, I was at this furniture store and I saw the ugliest furniture I'd ever seen in my life. And Elvis went out and bought it. This is a true story.
What do you call this room?
The jungle room.
This is the jungle.
This is the jungle room. This has been, records have been recorded. Elvis loved spending time here. Lisa really loved spending time here. She actually, even as an adult, Angie, who's the archivist who's walking the president around, used to bring back this box. It was a box that Elvis took out on tour. It had his credit cards. It had a couple of crowns in it. And Lisa would go on the floor and she'd become a child again. It was really an amazing, really just an amazing thing to see. So this is the room with the most warmth, I think, the most family room of the whole house.
Have any presidents visited here before?
George Bush actually came here with the Prime Minister of Japan in 2008. And then you've had presidents before and after, but President Trump is only the second standing president to visit. We don't close the house down for many people.
Did they film any of the recent movies about Elvis?
No, there are parts and pieces filmed, but primarily the Baz Luhrmann movie was actually filmed in Australia.
Oh, really?
The little to known about that, because I was about to fly out, I get a phone call saying that don't go because Tom Hanks has some weird disease. And if you remember, the first famous person anyone knew had COVID was Tom Hanks in Australia, and he was actually there for the start of the Baz Luhrmann Elvis movie.
Jungle room. Did you like the movie?
Did I like the movie? I produced it, so
I watched it then.
It was the first 8 times, not as much, but after it grew on me.
It's a great movie.
And then there's, if you haven't seen Epic, which is really, it took us 10 years to find all of this lost footage that was in a salt mine in Kansas. And Baz Luhrmann, and I was producing on this as well, just released 6-7 weeks ago.
Okay.
It's the concert film above all concert films, and it was the highest grossing first week of a concert film ever. Beat the Beatles, beat Led Zeppelin. Just an extraordinary film. I produced Elvis records as well. His every take of on the records is just perfect and amazing. And from as the president rightly said, to his last day, he never lost any of his voice.
Here for the Koizumi visit?
No. Downstairs, they're looking at the television room, obviously, that again was made famous in the Paradise, in one of the Paradise episodes on Disney Plus streaming, as well as the pool room, which it took some incredible multiple football fields worth of fabric to do the design that they did.
So when Elvis bought Graceland, this set of stairs would have led to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a patio
So
area.
he expanded it.
Yes. So this room was added to the house in 1964. And it's really, Elvis just called it his den. But when the press first saw it, they nicknamed it the Jungle Room for obvious reasons. The furniture is all hand-carved white pine wood, and it was made by a company called Whitco. And Elvis loved Hawaii, and his dad had said that he had seen the most awful furniture he'd ever seen. And so Elvis goes shopping that night and buys the entire set. And this is what it was. But Elvis liked it because it did remind him of Hawaii.
That's good, yeah. He did well with Hawaii.
And if you look up, you'll notice there's carpet on the ceiling, a 70s decorating trend that made this room acoustically sound.
Yeah, before his time.
And Elvis
He was
actually...
way before his time. Look, he
really was.
Carpet on the ceiling.
And Elvis actually used this room for recording. He recorded 2 albums from Elvis Presley Boulevard, Memphis, Tennessee, and 6 songs from his last album in this room. And he would normally stand over there on that platform. That was kind of his stage. And then the band and all the singers and everybody would be here in the room while they were recording.
That's good.
Yeah. One of the songs he recorded here is a song called Hurt, and another one was Unchained Melody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So, and that's a stereo system, and Elvis's karate nickname was Tiger.
And you can see she loves Elvis. Well, she couldn't do what she does well, right?
She's the best
She's doing great.
Yes.
How long have you worked with?
36 years.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We have people come from high school. We actually had some of your people who actually wanted to give us applications. They wanted to come to Graceland so
Yes.
much.
Mhm.
It's an amazing place to be.
36 years. And he's been here a long time, I'll tell you.
Yep.
He's been, right?
I've been, I've been developing it. When I got here,
From a young man.
Yes.
From when he was a young man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do
So
we all love Elvis? Media loves Elvis. It's a little different for you guys, right? You know, we're very political.
not here.
And,
This is
not
all
here,
fun.
but not here
And
because
Elvis
everyone
was not
loves Elvis.
political.
Yeah,
well,
everyone loves
I think he was
Elvis.
political, but he kept it.
He kept it to himself. Yep, he did.
Yeah.
He believed, he felt very strongly in the office. He respected the office.
Of the
he
president.
respected law enforcement.
Yeah, yeah.
And that should be something that should be universal.
Yes, no matter who. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Any questions about Elvis, media? You like to
What's
have?
your favorite song, sir, of Elvis's?
Well, she just mentioned one of them, "Hurt." Hurt's great, right?
It is.
Isn't
It is very good.
He's got so many. There's very few I don't like. Actually,
Well, and
but he's got.
How Great Thou Art.
Yeah, yeah. Every one of them is. He made nothing. He did nothing bad.
Nope.
Elvis loved his gospel above all. Gospel was his favorite music.
What was his biggest selling song? What was his most successful song?
It's
With
Now
all-
or Never.
Oh, really?
That's one sold the most, yes.
Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say the best, but that's good.
Yeah, that's good. Mhm.
Yeah, that's good. They're all good.
Uh-huh. I also have a few pieces here. So this, this is Elvis's Social Security card that we found in his wallet. So the gold medal Social Security cards were not officially issued by the government, but they were a novelty item that you could actually buy then, because the paper ones that people would carry around with them would get messed up. And so this was Elvis's.
Good idea. Maybe we should do that again.
And then,
Not a bad
Like a gold visa.
yeah, and then this is his bedside phone. It actually is gold plated.
I would like to hear some of those conversations, right?
Well, as you can see, it's
They would like to hear.
Yeah, it's very well worn.
Oh, yeah. That's-
And it's been through the ringer. It has its little dings on it. But then this is actually the belt that Elvis got for shattering all the city's attendance records in Las Vegas. The belt buckle is sterling silver with diamonds, rubies, and sapphires in it. And he most notably wore this not only on and off stage, but he wore it in the Oval Office when he met President Nixon.
That's a very famous visit, actually.
Yes. Yep. And this guitar that you see here, this is actually a replica of a guitar that Elvis used in his 1973 Aloha from Hawaii concert. And I was wanting to know if you would sign it for us
Oh,
to keep for the
sure.
archives.
Wow,
So
that's a-
you can sit here if you
That's
like.
a big honor.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, this will be for the archives.
Sure.
There you go. There's a marker.
Okay. Where do you want me to sign that here?
You can sign it right here if you like.
Okay.
There you go.
It's a great honor. Hold it. Has anyone tested this pen yet?
I think you're the first.
Should we just
Right
give
there.
me a piece of paper just to make sure at
get
what
a piece of
level
paper.
the ink is,
Yes.
right? It's a lot easier to do that way than ruin the guitar.
Exactly.
Okay, not bad. Okay, ready, everybody? Let's see here. Oh, that came out good. Look at that.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Wow. You never know. These are hard to sign. But that came out pretty good.
Is that the first guitar you signed?
Just about. Now, Biden couldn't do that. He'd have to send it out to be signed. Look at that. That came out nice. And what a beautiful guitar. Is this, so, did he play this guitar?
No, this is a replica one, but this is a replica of the one that he did play,
Yeah.
and the one that had the
Beautiful.
karate patch on it. Elvis had 2 8th degree black belts in karate. One was in Kenpo, and that's what this
Was
patch
he
is
really
for.
good, or was it just...
Actually, he was really good. He
Okay.
started practicing.
Could I have taken him in a fight?
I don't know. You might.
I think he would have been respectful enough to let you win.
Yes, he probably would.
But he and Bruce Lee really brought
Really? Is
karate.
that right?
Yeah, he would have been. But he and Bruce Lee really brought karate to the West.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's good.
Yep.
It's very good. Well, Bruce Lee was pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
You having a good time, media? Everybody? Interesting. It's a little bit different, yeah.
People make pilgrimages here from all around the world.
Yeah.
Would you imagine someday in the very distant future, people making a similar pilgrimage to Mar-a-Lago?
Well, I don't know. It's something I could never say. You know, wouldn't it be terrible if it was, oh yes, so yes. Headlines, Trump, you know, no, whatever, you know, whatever. That's a special place too. As you said, you know, in terms of people going to places, these are big, successful places. But this is, all I know is, you know, I know that all my life I've heard about Graceland. I've watched Elvis. Surprisingly, you know, because I was around with Elvis sort of in his semi-prime at least, right? And
Yeah.
for some reason I didn't know him, but I knew just about everybody else. Knew all of them. But I don't know why with Elvis. He was a little bit locked into Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, he was in Vegas a lot.
You know, but he was a very special guy. Everybody said what a good person. You know, he was just a good person with a complicated life.
The most famous person on the planet. It's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the most famous person on the planet. Let's see. Who else would be more famous than Elvis? Nobody that I can think of. See? Anyway, but this is fun. And I want to thank you all. This is great. We appreciate it. And hopefully you're going to get a lot of additional fans coming out here because it's interesting to see. You learn about his personality, about Elvis's personality by seeing the way he lived. And I heard that he just wanted to be back here. He didn't want to be anywhere. He could have been anywhere. He could have been, I'll name some nice fancy places like Palm Beach. He could have been anywhere he wanted to be, but he wanted to be here.
Yes.
And he was a special guy. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Really
for
good
visiting
job.
us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Please follow me. Thank you, press. Please do my tip. Please follow me.
Thank you, press. Out
Thank
the
you,
front
press.
door.
Let's go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
press.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, press. Out the front.
Please follow.
To the front door.
Follow. Please follow.
Right this way. Thank you all.
You good?
Hi.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so be honest. Who had visiting Graceland as a part of a show on their bingo card today? Not me. I had no idea we would still be on the air 2.5 hours later looking at Graceland with President Trump. They turned the camera back on, so now they're going to film President Trump coming out of Graceland, which I guess we can show you. This is just a crazy day. I'm telling you, covering this guy, so many people have asked me, Barry, don't you have a set schedule? I'm like, I can't. If I said we're going to go on at noon every day, if I said we're going to go on at 3 every day, all of this is missed. Nobody's showing it on television. I don't know who else might be showing it right now, but nobody covers it. And so, yeah, I try to stay as close to his schedule as I possibly can. And, for that, people call me a homer or a bootlicker and everything else. But I'm like, this is the lane we've chosen here. I'm looking on television. I click the buttons. Nobody's covering it. Meanwhile, President Trump's over here in Graceland getting ready to come out the front door here. And so they're staged here waiting for President Trump to come out. Who knows? He may take some comments when he comes outside of Graceland. I don't know. But no, I did not have a Graceland tour on my schedule this morning. I didn't even have it. And you know what's really weird too? Because of the way he did it this morning, I usually do like a couple minutes of news, then I'll go into my sponsors, and then I'll go into some content, and then it'll come on. Well, I couldn't do that today, so now you got a ad-free show because I didn't even have time to insert any of my sponsors, so I got to push them back till tomorrow or tonight. So let me give you an idea what's going to happen tonight, by the way. Just found out 7 o'clock tonight, they're going to have the final hearing for Mark Wayne Mullen. So we'll show that. Let's get back to Graceland here. I want to know who it is that has to travel with a ladder. This is funny. Oh, run. Get back to the van. Hurry back. We got to run. We got to catch up with the president. Oh, my God. We're all going to the same damn plane. What are you running for? Oh, gosh.
Let's go. We need to move.
We need to move. Hurry. Why are they running? Chill, people.
Everybody just get in. That's not how it works. There's no room. You gotta get in your van. Whatever van you came in.
Wait, they
Whatever
got
van
in
you
our
came in,
van?
get in that van.
Wait, staff got in there.
I don't think we were supposed to see that. I don't think we were at all supposed to see what we just saw, these people running around like rats. A little behind the scenes stuff for you. I know you ain't got to see that on television. So they went to the other screen now, which is like throwing me off. And this other screen is further live coverage is expected. So what that normally means is we haven't ended the broadcast. We're all getting on this van and we're going to follow the president like his, what's that guy's name? Monty Python, not Monty Python, Benny Hill routine. They're all going to chase him to the airport now. And then who knows, he may get out on the airport and take some more questions. I got to go eat lunch. Let me finish what we were talking about before we went to Graceland and talked about Lisa Marie and got to sign a guitar. Now let's finish again, this is the prequel to what you saw earlier.
What I'm doing today, really, this was a little bit before, set up a couple of weeks ago. This was before we had this situation with Iran take place last night. And by the way, they're just not communicating. When they say, I'm sure they don't mean that. When somebody says, oh, I didn't know you were talking, we were talking last night, and I'm sure they have a lack of communication, which is appropriate considering we blew up, in addition to their Navy, Air Force, every division, their radar. We also blew up all of their anti-aircraft and communications. So they have no telecommunications. So there is a lack of, I would imagine, a lack of coordination.
If you're worried about the miscommunication,
well, we think all we can do is think. Look, we have numerous leader groups. They've all been killed. Very dangerous position. Khomeini was killed. Khomeini's son is unavailable. Nobody knows what happened to him. I can say they haven't seen him there either. Something is going on with him. But regardless, I don't consider him really the leader. But they do have some leaders left because we blew up group number 1, group number 2, a lot of group number 3. But we think we have people that are very representative of the country and will do a good job in representing.
Elon Musk has offered to pay TSA workers during this DHS shutdown. Is this something that you've been speaking to him about?
Yeah, I'd love it. I think it's great. Let him do that. And I want to thank ICE because they stepped in so strongly. They'll do great. And if that's not enough, I'll bring in the National Guard. We're not going to have the Democrats destroy our country. These people are the most destructive, sick people, the Democrats. They want, and they're fighting for this. They're fighting for men and women's sports. They're fighting for transgender for everybody. Everybody go out, get your kid a nice operation, and change the sex of your kid. They're fighting for, think of it. They don't want you to do voter ID. You walk into a booth. In California, if a person who's doing voting, an official, asks you for identification, they're subject to being arrested. What's wrong with this country? So we're fighting it hard. And I think they should, because the Democrats are being blamed for the shutdown, and it's their fault, and they're getting killed. That's why when I announced yesterday about ICE, the Democrats called. We want to settle. We want to settle. And I told the people, don't settle. Don't settle. Because we have something bigger. Only settle if you get the Save America Act, voter ID, and so important, proof of citizenship, etc. Thank you very much.
Whose idea was that to put ICE at the airport?
We're dealing really...
Whose idea was it?
Mine. That was mine.
And can I ask you said
that was like the paperclip. You know the story of the paperclip? 182 years ago, a man discovered the paperclip. It was so simple. And everybody that looked at it say, why didn't I think of that? ICE was my idea. First person I called was Tom Homeland. I said, what do you think? He said, I think it's great. Then I saw today there was some masks on. I didn't think the masks were appropriate. I put out a statement and I asked them, would it be possible to take off the mask? Because they should wear a mask when they're dealing with the murderers and the thugs let into our country.
You said there's many points of agreement with Iran right now.
Many.
What, can you give us a few
Many,
of those?
like 15 points. 15 points.
Iran has said yes.
Well, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. That's number one. That's number 1, 2, and 3. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
They said yes to that?
They've agreed to that.
Will we see arrests or illegal migrant arrests at airports, sir?
Arrests?
Will we see ICE arresting illegal migrants at airports?
Yeah, that's...
Are we talking
That's why the Democrats are going crazy. Because they've allowed, by what they did, and hold up, we put ICE, who are a very high level, I mean, they really are a high-level group of people. And they love it because they're able to now arrest illegals as they come into the country. That's very fertile territory. But that's not why they're there. They're really there to help.
Are we talking to Iran directly? To no enrichment whatsoever, even for medical purposes, civilian purposes?
They have. Thank you.
What about the Strait of Hormuz? Who's going to be in control of that?
That'll be opened very soon if this works.
How soon? And who's in control of it? Will Iran still be able to control the flow of oil?
Be jointly controlled.
By who?
Maybe me. Maybe me.
You want the United States to be in
Me
control?
and the Ayatollah, whoever the Ayatollah is, whoever the next Ayatollah. Look, and there'll also be a form of a very serious form of a regime change. Now, in all fairness, everybody's been killed from the regime. They're really starting off. There's automatically a regime change. But we're dealing with some people that I find to be very reasonable, very solid. The people within know who they are. They're very respected. And maybe one of them will be exactly what we're looking for. Look at Venezuela, how well that's working out. We are doing so well in Venezuela with oil and with the relationship between the president-elect and us. And maybe we find somebody like that in Iran.
Are you considering any more options to lower the price of oil while these stocks?
The price of oil will drop like a rock as soon as a deal is done. I guess it already is today. No, we have a very serious chance of making a deal. That doesn't guarantee anything. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm not going to come out here in a week or 2 weeks and have you all say, oh, you said. I didn't say anything. All I'm saying is we are in the throes of a real possibility of making a deal. And I think if I were a betting man, I'd bet for it. But again, I'm not guaranteeing anything. They want to make a deal very badly. Thank you.
What changes would you like to see in DHS under Mark Wayne Mullen?
Well, he's going to be fantastic. He'll make his own change. He's already given me a list of people he wants to bring. He's a fantastic guy. I think he's just the right guy. You all know him. He's a very open, smart guy, very successful actually in business, which people don't know, and he's a friend of mine. I think Mark Wayne is going to be fantastic. Thank you.
Are these direct thoughts on the plane crash that happened there?
Terrible. They made a mistake. It's a dangerous business. That's terrible. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Are you going to capture him getting on?
So that was President Trump on his way out to Memphis. I'm sure there'll be something on the way back from Memphis as well, which I'll cover tonight. Like I said, there was going to be a hearing scheduled for Mark Wayne Mullen. That was supposed to be at 3 o'clock. Thankfully, it's now going to be 7 o'clock, so we'll cover that tonight. We'll cover the Supreme Court talking about mail-in ballots. I'm also going to talk more about TSA and bring that full circle so you guys can understand what happened there and how that's working out. He mentioned at the end there about the crash at LaGuardia, and he said it was a mistake. He said this, remember, that was at 9:41 this morning. So at 9:41, he already knew. Since that time, it has come out that a guy up in the controller made a mistake. And he actually, they have the recording of him because the plane was coming in for a landing and he told the fire truck it was clear or vice versa. And they smashed into each other. And on tape, they have him saying, I made a mistake. Mistakes happen. We're human. Till AI takes over air traffic control, it happens. I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad for everybody involved. If it was truly a mistake, think about how he must feel right now. He must feel awful, absolutely awful. All right, so I'm looking at the oil prices. It's down almost 8.1%. 87.50 is where oil is right now. And so I guess we'll hear in the next couple hours what exactly is going to happen with Iran. I love when he told Caitlin, who's going to control the oil? Me. Which immediately must have gave her severe butt puckerage. They can't even comprehend that this guy is doing some of the stuff he's doing. It's fantastic. Love it. All right, so let me get the super chats. Hold on, SV, one more check. SV, tell me if you got anything.
Hey there, I just have an FAFO post.
I love FAFO posts. What do you got?
Chuck Schumer, we are defunding TSA until ICE is abolished. President Trump, okay, I will send ICE to the airports.
They have no moves left on the board. Whatever chessboard that they're playing, they have no more moves. And they're just flailing and they continue to flail. And what he said today is going to freak them out even more by saying mail-in voting is a matter of national security. He's already setting up things 3 and 4 moves down the board, and they can't answer the first move. So thank you very much, SV, for hanging in here for this long. And Beth and Roaring Rage and Severo as well. All right, let me get to Super Chats if there are any in here, and let me bring this up. Thank you guys. Wow, right now we are 3 hours in, and there's still over 5,000 of you who are watching. That's amazing. Oh, I forgot the poll. As you guys know, CPAC is running this week, and I put up, do you guys want me to cover CPAC? And I really wanted to know what you guys thought because there's a whole bunch of speakers and everything, but I think my answer was given to me by somebody else who's probably currently on Air Force One. President Trump has declined to speak at CPAC. Yeah, it was just announced a little while ago. He's not going. Well, if he's not going, then I don't know if I really care about covering CPAC. You guys can let me know. All right, let's do this and reconvene. Real KRO, thank you. The Memphis Conservative. Good morning, Brother Barry, and everybody in the chat. Great show, like always. Let it go. Thank you. John Ville, I had ticket to Led Zeppelin to the concert that never happened. Oh, wow. After Jason Bonham died? Wow. Chiosop sounds more like Susan Rice, Obama, and Nat Cabal. Yeah, there's definitely something going on in Iran right now. Zelensky had made a deal too. On the day of signing, he came and blew it up. Deep State has all these creeps by the you-know-what. They're just pawns. I agree. Cheryl, Iranian people want Reza Pahlavi as their interim leader to bring in their new government. Perhaps that's who Trump is speaking with. I don't think he'd be speaking with him yet because he's got no control of the nuts. So, who's got their fingers on the buttons is who I'd want to be talking to. Intrigue. Thank you, Barry. I'm an Elvis fan. This was a fantastic surprise. Way to go, Trump. Really great show. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know that was coming. Yeah, I can't even take any credit for it. I'm sitting here looking at my monitors, and I look over here, and he's at Graceland. Actually, SB said it first, and I was able to pull it up on the monitors here in this spaceship that we're sitting in. Intrigue. Okay, Buddy Sanders, executive guitar. How much is that guitar worth right now? It's a replica. It's not actually one of Elvis's guitars, but now President Trump has signed it. And John says we won't get fooled again. All right, everybody. I don't know what's going on. Oh yeah, of course. Why don't we just make this the after party? Oh, he's leaving. Hold on. Let me pull that up. As you can see, all right, so he didn't take any questions. He just got on the airplane, and here's the media running again. Oh my God, get on the plane. He's going to leave us. They all got to hightail it to the back door. They don't get to go in the front door. I hope they can show us something. Maybe somebody's got a camera on as they go up underneath Air Force One. I don't know if we're supposed to be seeing that as ordinary people, seeing how this plane looks. But there's the undercarriage of Air Force One. Bet you never seen that before. I've never seen it. Show us what it looks like going in the back door. That big bird. That's a big, giant bird. What kind of security clearance the reporters have to get on the back door of Air Force One? I'm almost sure you're not supposed to be showing the undercarriage of Air Force One. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want you taking pictures of what the plane looks like. Oh, don't go up under somebody's skirt. We don't want to get in trouble that way either. All right, everybody. I shall see you. It says further coverage again. I don't know what more they're going to show. Talk to you guys at 7. Let's go.